Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Saturday. Make sure Lou's in frame, she's here. We might as well exploit her for internet cat love. Lupine, you're on the internet. You're on the internet. They see you all over the world. Lupine doesn't know what the internet is, unfortunately. Cute jacket? It's like a little shawl. I was just a little chilly. Like, up here, it's actually funny, because I have a fan up here a lot of, like, all the time when I'm streaming now, and it's just because, like, when I sit here, it's not even that I'm warm, it just feels like the air is really still up here, and it, like, gets really, I don't know how to explain it, not musty, just the air feels stale, so I just have a fan on to, like, so it gets a little chilly, so I wear a shawl a lot. I don't know. Yeah. Lou is being the heckin' cutie, so she's gonna be here on Sovereign Citizen Patrol with us today. Sorry, I was talking while turning around. I'm sure my voice was dipping in and out. Been doing this over 10 years. You'd think I know how to use a mic, but I guess not. So let's see what I missed in chats. Hello everyone on YouTube. Make sure you smash the like button. You have its consent. Go ahead and do that. That would be cool. Helps out the channel, helps me out, and it only takes you a second. In the time I've been talking, you could have done it, by the way. I'm still doing it. You have time. I'm gonna keep talking till you hit the like button. Okay, I'm done. I didn't commit. That's on me. Over on Twitch, thank you for 25 months. Wow. Let's see. Jules Kersler with 26 months. Halloween Town, 15k away from 1,000,000 channel points. Oh, Lou left. Sad face. And I think we're caught up. Cool beans. Going to YouTube to like. Thank you. Bailey, I'm very confused by you. I still have my suspicions, but that's my tinfoil. Maybe you are okay. Or maybe you've lulled me into a sense of security. Either way, it'll be interesting to find out. That's really good. I should drink hydrating things more often. So, Lou's just, I can hear her, their food dish is, like, outside this door in, like, a hallway, so it's possible she'll come back once she gets a snack and maybe get some water or something, but the chair is here, so she'll maybe take it. If not, maybe another cat will hydrate. So yeah, maybe one of the cats will come back. If they do, I'll reposition it a little better for visual. Until then, I guess we'll have to settle, instead of for cats, the actual theme of this stream, which is Sovereign Citizens. So we have all sorts of different Sovcits to look at today. I did want to play the interesting one first. Normally I would, like, tease it out a little bit, but why not? Let's just do it. I did want to play a previous one because there was a brief 10-minute court interaction that had happened previous, where I believe he had claimed he was going to, here it is, this is actually only 6 minutes. Last time this gentleman was in court, he threatened to kidnap the judge, and this time, which we'll watch after we catch up on this last one for people who missed it, he challenges the prosecuting attorney to mutual combat. Which is fist fighting. It's a street fight. It's a legal street fight. So let's check out the first appearance and then see the most recent and see what happens when you challenge opposing counsel to a street fight in court. It goes bad. Surprise. Fenekagami says, hello Hannah, did you hear about ChatGPT had a meltdown and no one knows why? All businesses that have been replacing workers with chatbots got F'd for a day. Canada Air is in a lawsuit now because the chatbot offered a refund that it shouldn't have. I have. Quite funny. But I still think that technology is going to continue. Despite the ill effects towards society. Anyway, so here we go. I don't think he's supposed to be filming, by the way. Most courts don't want you to film in them. At least not without special permission. Could be wrong. Just saying. Don't know what state this is.
Alright, and what's the status of Mr. Banks' matter? Mr. Banks is asking
What we need to do is spend our time teaching the AI class consciousness.
the court
Check.
to quash.
Holy shit, this court has a Blu-ray player. Unironically, this court, I've made this, before I'd mistaken it. This time I am not mistaken. This court has a Blu-ray player. That's a Blu-ray logo on that TV. So, sorry about my little hyperfixation. You know how I am about Blu-rays, but just noticed the court has one. Nice. Garotz, thanks for 19 months, says, trial by combat, let the gods decide my fate.
The warrant that was previously issued at his last hearing, and I believe the clerk has already been handed forward at 10:70.
It's for when they literally catch you in HD.
Evaluation, which defense is requesting to take place out of custody.
All right, thank you. So first of all, I'm going to quash the warrant that was issued for Mr. Banks. What's the city's position with regard to 77?
Yeah, he's got the camera hidden, so I don't think he's supposed to be recording this, but okay.
Just based on the time. It's like a November 6th.
No, I would like to.
November 6th at 9 a.m. work for you for your next hearing?
No, I would like to give notice of fraud on the court and serve documents to all parties involved.
Okay.
So he would like to serve documents to everyone here. He thinks that it is illegal, that they are charging him with some sort of crime. I don't know the specifics of the crime here, whatever it is, or infraction. It might just be a traffic thing. I have no idea. But instead of just going through the court process or getting an attorney, which if it's a criminal thing or whatever, he would be appointed one if he can't have one. If it's traffic court, wouldn't be. But again, it's traffic court. A little bit easier. So instead, he's decided to try and prosecute all of the people in the courtroom. Good plan.
So I don't know what that means because that's not in our normal procedure. So you're welcome to do that if you need to. But
Okay,
I'm just
so
asking
you're.
you about your next court date. Is that November 6th work for you?
No, I don't consent to any further court dates.
All right. So I'm going to set November 6th, and if you don't appear on November 6th, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. Okay?
I've talked about it before, but I never understand why they say they don't consent, but they showed up to the first hearing. Like on some level, there's got to be a dissonance between the recognition that this court has the ability to, like, issue a warrant for your arrest if you don't show up, and trying to claim they don't have jurisdiction. Like, what do they think that means? Like, they're free to think that that jurisdiction is unjust or think that our judicial system is bad for any variety of reasons. I'm not saying I would agree with them on every single point, or even most of them, but you're allowed to disagree with things. That's not the problem. The problem is you're trying to claim that they don't have a power that they absolutely do have. Like, if I went to North Korea and broke the law, I'd be like, this might be unjust, the thing that I'm being arrested for. Like, let's say I went to North Korea and they found out that I was trans, and maybe that's illegal in North Korea. I genuinely don't know. But they arrest me for some reason. I might think, this is unjust. But no part of me would go, you have no jurisdiction, because of course they do, because they are the power in the country. They are the ones who have sovereignty and who get to do what they want. They have, in broad, almost meme terms, they have the monopoly on violence, as some might say. You know? They're the authority. That's basically what jurisdiction is. Don't get me wrong, there's more thought to it than that, especially in a system that's actually trying to be just. But broadly, they have the power to exercise their orders, therefore they have jurisdiction. Weird argument.
I've signed the order, and we'll make sure to get a response of that.
Ma'am, I need your name.
You want to debate with a left-wing Trump supporter? What would a left-wing Trump supporter look like? I'm very confused. Like, what beliefs they have that are left, but they're also a Trump supporter? Like, have they just ignored everything? Everything that he did when he was president and everything he said before or since?
Again, please.
Socially liberal, fiscally conservative. So like a rich asshole, basically?
You can talk outside of court.
Sir, you represent the city?
Yes.
May I have your name, please?
Sir, you're going to have to move along because I have other cases that I need to
I'm not familiar with Yankee Tanky. I don't know who that is.
solve. So you can ask those questions
Sir,
you need to ask
may I
them.
have your name, please?
Mr. Banks. Mr. Banks.
Sir,
Mr. Banks.
may I have your name, please?
Sir, sorry, I'm not allowed to talk to you at the moment.
Mr.
It's a
Banks.
federal representative.
I
Okay.
need you to step back, okay?
All right,
All this information is public record. You can get it.
absolutely, here.
Going round asking for names he should already have, or like the judge said, are easily accessible because they're all public record, has got to be one of the pettiest things a sovsit can do. And that's saying something because everything they do is petty. But now he ups the pettiness and rudeness by walking up on the judge after being warned not to.
Is Caleb Maupin? No, there's no way Caleb Maupin even LARPs as a Trump supporter, right? Like, he's ridiculous and sucks and dumb, but there's no way, right? Because he certainly likes RT, doesn't he? I don't know.
I'm giving you judicial notice.
You need to hand it to the clerk.
I really need to get into tankies and talking about them. I did like one tanky watch a long time ago and I gave it up immediately.
Judicial note.
You need to stand
What's your
back.
name, ma'am?
You need to stand
There
back.
aren't as many tankies that are interesting
Sir, you need to stand back.
to me.
Emily? Last name, Emily?
You need to go back.
I don't even know if there is a bailiff right there. It's traffic court. Like, I don't know how seriously they
So this is the
expected
thing, you
this to
forced
be.
me to come here, and then you
No,
limit,
you
and
got
then
a
you won't,
warrant,
hold on,
you-
hold on,
I
hold
let
on,
you come
ma'am.
here.
Yeah, I think the judge's clerk might be making a call right now, might be to get maybe a bailiff in because he's acting so erratically. I don't know if they have a bailiff in this room.
So that you can
Everything that
you
I
need to
filed
step back or
in
else
the
I'm gonna have to
case,
call
everything that I filed in this case is being ignored. You wanna play with my life, take away my ability to
Alright.
make a
You
living
need to-
with fraudulent
You
proceedings.
need to
It's
exit my
unacceptable.
courtroom. You need to exit my courtroom. It's all in this.
Do you
standard procedure.
believe you're above arrest?
I need you to leave my courtroom.
Do you believe you're above arrest?
I need you.
You think you're above arrest, though. That's interesting. That almost feels like a projection. You feel you're above arrest. You feel you're above arrest because you're here in court trying to deal with an issue and saying they don't have jurisdiction. So how would they have jurisdiction over her if they don't have it over you?
Do you believe you're above the law?
Don't keep approaching me.
Oh, yeah, don't do that. Ugh.
Responsible.
Don't.
He's
keep
approaching.
me.
Oh God, he's approaching her.
I'm
Don't do
gonna ask
this.
you kindly to please leave the courtroom now, okay?
This
I
is
don't
my
want
court.
this to get nasty. I want you to leave.
Yikerinos.
Yeah, because I want him
I'm
to
gonna
come
ask
arrest you.
I'm gonna ask you to leave, okay? It's fine.
Hello.
I'll quash your warrant. You need to leave, please. I'm asking you nicely. Just please leave.
Respect
Yeah,
the
she's
patient.
just
Not
trying
you.
to get him out of the room, saying she'll quash the warrant because he's being erratic and like threatening.
Use the people's power to step on my life and the people of this county, in this city. Believe that.
All right, where are you taking this case?
So he runs out, and this is the update. This is the next time he shows up to court, I believe. Let me actually expand this so it's easier to see for you guys. Pterodona says, "Do not enter the well. You will get tackled." I need to catch up on Legal Eagle. I have not seen Legal Eagle videos in forever. Did I somehow get unsubscribed? YouTube does that sometimes. God, I hate when people do video like this. Like, I'm no cinematographer, but, people know that human eyes are this direction, right? I get that you have a phone, but your phone can be held like, you can hold your phone like this and it'll film like this. And you can hold your phone like this and you can watch videos on it. That's why there's a good reason they made smartphones like this, so you can use it like a phone and also like a screen. Oh God, I'm a boomer. I'm doing it. I'm becoming it. Like a David Cronenberg film. Cloud Wizard says, "But she canceled my warrant, sir. That agreement was made under threat, duress, or coercion." It all wraps together. Makes sense. Pterodona, thanks for gifting a sub.
Also have Mr. Bell back here as well.
Excuse me?
Yes, I do. You come and grab a seat, or you want me to stand up? Or come so you're closer to the mic.
No. See, this is a arena of honorable men. So if y'all can run y'all court the way you wish, allow me the same respect,
and everything is copacetic.
All right. This is the,
Can you get a competency hearing? Because, like, I feel like this guy's genuinely, like, having grandiose delusions or something.
any base matter, anything.
I don't know. It's pretty common for sovereign citizens to have this, like, kind of antiquated language that they think holds more weight than speaking more casually. I think it's because they hear lawyers speaking in language they maybe don't understand because they're using legal terms and different jargon, and they assume if they speak kind of in that style, cargo cult way, that they'll do it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between when it's just a weird sovereign citizen strange belief thing and when it starts to bleed over into, like, is this person okay? Stakem, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Much appreciated.
L matter 380225485. This was on, there was previously a competency evaluation ordered. There was some non-compliance.
Oh, hype train, 48% to level 2.
Ultimately,
Yankee Tanky debated Kevin Logan and talked about GOP social things and how Ukraine how Ukraine is Russia. Ooh. Be warned as he used slurs when debating Keffels. Oh, God. Fenekagami says, this will be a nice thing to listen to on my way home from work. Well, I hope that's... Is that now or is it soon? Are you going to have to watch the VOD or are you on your way home? If you're on your way home, be safe, get home, have a relaxing time. If it's later, hope work gets done soon. 52% to level 2. Sorry, I had a box over it.
most recently on December 4th, a new out-of-custody competency evaluation was ordered.
Oh, good, they're doing a competency evaluation. Like, unironically, great. I think he needs that. It would probably behoove him to have a lawyer. Again, I don't know what this is for. I don't know if this is, like, for a criminal thing. If it is, he definitely needs an attorney. Dave, thank you for 1,000 bits. Wow. Very generous of you.
And
92% to level 2.
Set for today to check in on status. Any status regarding the out-of-custody competency evaluation?
The court knows it takes up to a year, so we're still waiting for that.
I've been called for jury duty like 3 times. I've never been impaneled on a jury, but I've been on jury duty.
You're gonna talk to me today?
Months out of custody for the evaluation. It's
Oh, sorry, I need to expand this so you can see the captions.
Well,
Silly me.
I mean, I guess the real question is, I don't have anything to file that comes, or that gives any sort of status update. I'll also note, in this case, there was previously an out-of-custody evaluation that was ordered. And for example, a letter came indicating that Mr. Banksell hadn't attended that.
What's your name?
Jury duty doesn't exist in
Subsequent order.
Swesson?
I havenn't seen anything.
What do? Do you not have
indicating
juries?
that schedule
Is it
hasn't
all
attended or
done by judges?
anything to that effect. So does anybody have any information about any status?
I have not been contacted again
That's
by
that was supposed to be Sweden, by the way.
Western State.
So I just
but,
wrote, I said it as written. Swesson. Sick.
That takes even longer.
How do you say that? When you're, like, reading something and it's, like, misspelled or in a weird way and you want to indicate that it's, you know, quoted as written, you wrote in the hyphens SIC. Do you pronounce that sick? Or is there some other word for that? I've only ever seen it written and I know what it means, but I don't remember the pronunciation, or if there is. Oh, Noisy Corvax with a $5 super chat. How's it going? Says, having read a lot of the meme stock cases, there's a lot of that overly verbose language, so I agree with that sort of mimicry cargo cult theory. Yeah, I've seen some of the... I haven't gone super into those, but I've seen some of the filings from the meme stock people. Interesting. Very interesting. Dave on 1, holy crap, thanks for another 400 bits. Very generous with bits today. It's pronounced as written? Okay.
The evaluation. So I have no information
A lot of countries don't have juries for the vast majority of court cases, especially murder cases. Okay.
about when that would happen. This was supposed to be done in November. So we're not even close to a year.
Well, just as another indication for another case, it looks like the order entered in October, and that evaluation happened right at the end of January. So for for this one, that would have put us, about 3 months
Sick,
out.
as in sic semper tyrannis. That helps me a lot. Thank you.
Possibly
Like,
looking
as,
at
okay.
in the next 6
Thus.
weeks or so that it might be a case, but not a course of change. Just based on that timeline. But any information from the city regarding the evaluation?
No, Your Honor. Generally, the orders request that defense counsel schedule them because they have the ability to communicate with their clients about the evaluation. We'd ask that this case be continued for Mr. Banks to have his scheduled evaluation. And so far.
Oh, I can turn it up. Sorry. I didn't realize it was too quiet for you guys. Yeah, if the volume's ever weird, let me know, just because the way that I have, like, I am not an audio engineer by any means, so the way I have this, like, I can't hear directly what your volume is, I can only see it on a bar. Like, my volume is independent from yours, if that makes sense. So, like, sometimes I can eyeball it okay, but depending on the video, it's iffy, so if I need to turn stuff up or down or adjust me versus it, please let me know.
Far with the last order being entered in.
Though, of course, check your thing first, because I don't, you know, some people just might need to turn their volume up.
December, it should probably, like I said, be set 4, 6, 7 weeks.
All right, anything to add, Mr. Smith?
And I've been assigned as Mr. Elbank's attorney, but it still doesn't talk.
Well, Mr. Banks,
I'm assuming he's not going to take an attorney, so I'm assuming they're going to try and say that he needs one anyway. That can happen.
looking at is the evaluation hasn't been done yet. I know last time we talked about how it's court ordered, and the preference was for you to do it out of custody instead of in custody. We're still in that same.
What don't you understand about free will and free sanctity of mind?
Well, I understand that. We've talked about this before, that you're ordered to do the evaluation. You have a couple of options. You can do it out of custody, or you can do it in custody. And you agreed last time you were out of custody. Is there a change to that agreement?
Yeah, there have been changes.
Okay.
After you finish doing what you're doing, so
I'm done.
you're done?
Yes.
So is it my turn?
You're welcome to go.
Okay, welcome to go.
Oh, hey, if you're ever in court, like, you know, try and not be, like, super duper rude. I would suggest you have a lawyer. They're better at talking to a judge, probably, than any of us.
All right, I'm giving notice of case number 24-201-08931. Since you don't want to listen to me, Honorable, you don't want to listen to documents, I have here a statement that's been published. Oh, can I give copies? My bad. I don't want to scare y'all, because I'm an honorable man. I'm not.
So you're gonna try and walk up again to the thing? I'm sure that's gonna go great. 40 seconds left in the hype train. Sorry, I gotta respond to something real quick. Okay, sorry about that.
Not trying to hurt anybody, but I got to get my point across.
This happens when you're live, you know.
Yes, it's an offer of proof.
Just tell us what you want to give to everybody.
This is a Declaration of Independence.
You know, thank you for the hype train, everyone. I understand that he's trying to allude to the American Declaration of Independence with this, with the naming. The difference is that the Declaration of Independence didn't immediately make the United States independent. What followed was a war. That was basically the Declaration of Independence, was them being like, hey, we're doing this. Fight us, you fucks. Officially. There was kind of a whole war to back it up, you know? It wasn't just a piece of paper.
Letting my political will be known. You don't have any interest, and I'm not a beneficiary to these proceedings. You just want to tap into my blood and my resources and drain me. I'm not accepting it. So I've instituted civil proceedings against you. Now, Miss Megan, I would like to get her name. You should be served within a week. I'm gonna add him.
Oh my god, thank you for gifting a sub to Rageology.
Her. Y'all don't want to listen?
Did you do this last time?
No. This has been public.
New?
Yeah, this is something new. So can I give you all a copy?
I'll defer to you whether you're okay with
There you go.
that.
Summons. Oh, it's public. It's not a problem for the city and for yourself.
Walking up to
All
the
right.
judge again. Stop walking up to the judge. Did no one get warned about what happened last time? Because last time he did this too. Kind of feel like maybe someone should have just maybe left a note is all.
So the next step, if you want to continue, what I'll do is every state official who wishes to continue, when I bring this federal matter, there will be no excuses, no reliance on, I didn't know, I didn't understand. You tried to rape this man's individual free will.
That's, again,
I'm not
the
having it.
word usage.
So-
You keep trying to apply things to this situation that it is not. I understand that it's not fun being charged, like, with a crime or whatever happens to be happening here, but how does he think this is going to work? Is it just, like... Is it just some people who are, like, so scared of not being in control that these narratives that, like, you can gain control through these magic words or whatever appeals to them? Like, so many of the sovereign citizens are obsessed, it seems, with this idea of no one has power over me. It's like, in theory, I guess, everyone has that existential fear of we're all a part of a society and we all owe responsibilities to each other. And sure, there are entities that have power, governmental and social structures that have power over us, and those things can be scary, but I think for most people, we just kind of, like, adapt to it and are used to it, and we understand things that we like and don't like, and we have things that maybe we want to change and vote for or do activism for, but more or less we're able to live day to day and deal with it. But people like Chili de Castro, people like this, just have this thing where it's like they cannot accept that sometimes there are specific situations in which entities have direct power over you. It's just, they can't, so they have to come up with this stuff or buy into this stuff.
That's all I have to say. You can continue on as you please, but I'm telling you, you're not free from the consequences.
So, Mr. Banks out. Do you have a second?
No, I'm pretty much finished, but I'll be respectful.
It still leaves us where we're at before. I understand if you want to bring proceedings, you have a right to do that, right? But where it leaves us still is you're ordered to do this competency evaluation.
No one has the authority to order me to do anything.
Well,
For what reason? What proof?
One moment. So the court's ordered it. It's there in a court order. And again, the situation that you're in is you have to either engage in that out of custody, which you agreed to last time, or what we can do is find that you're not compliant with the conditions of release, amend the bail order, and then you'll have to engage in that evaluation in custody. It is still one moment, it is still very much my preference that you engage in that out of custody. I don't think that there's any reason that you need to be in custody to do the evaluation, but one of the reasons that you would have to do it in custody is if you refuse to do it out of custody.
Tell me, why do I have to see your people for an evaluation?
Well, that's something, a conversation you can have with Mr. Smith, and we talked a little bit about.
No, it has to be.
One moment, Mr. Banks, I'll give you a chance. So, you have the right to present evidence about the competency, the status of competency if there's a disagreement about the report. You have to engage in the evaluation that's been ordered.
Okay, so who's here to compel you to perform according to my trust res?
Well, if you're asking about who else could assist you in getting an alternative evaluation,
No.
I'll
I'll do this. I'll do this.
If you're asking who's here to, like, advocate for you, a lawyer would be that. You've chosen to be your own lawyer, right? So if you had a lawyer, they would be here helping defend you and using all their legal knowledge to defend you in whatever way they could, which would probably involve doing this evaluation, and then maybe if it was disagreed with for some reason, getting a separate evaluation or evidence that, you know, maybe that evaluation was whatever, but you don't get to just opt out. There's no version of this where you just don't get to do it.
About that last time.
Honestly, if you had an attorney, they probably wouldn't even have you do the evaluation, because then you would have a lawyer there and they wouldn't be having to deal with you directly.
Yeah, I forgot. I've filed this too. Let me make this a part
I
of
think
it.
that's already been, I can kind of see it from here. I think that's already been filed in the court, so let me.
No, not this. You know what it is?
Well, I see the seal, so I guess it looks a little bit.
Yeah, because my court runs on the same seal that your. No, that's not the same.
All right, you can bring that up.
This is a choice of law, living trust law. Nah, I just created that, buddy.
Well, it's great for me.
Okay. Only the flag and the seal. So we're going to see. Because we're going to enforce contracts. You want to enforce yours on me? We're going to see. We're going to see if the republic and the law is real.
All right, so Mr. Banksell, the decision that we're talking about today, you're ordered to engage in the out-of-custody evaluation. One second, what we're looking at is, I haven't had any information, and you remember what this was like? I assume you remember what this was like several months ago, that the evaluation wasn't engaged in, and the conditions of bail were met. Recall that?
Keep creating evidence against yourself, man. It's fine.
All right, well, certainly all
Nemesis,
that's
thanks
in
for
the court
29
record.
months on Twitch.
Whether you want to
How you doing?
agree with recalling those events or not. But
Is he using their seal to create false court documents? If he's putting their seal on, I don't know the laws in regard to that, but he might be using their seal on his, like, fake legal things, because a lot of the time, this is a big sovereign citizen thing, is they will do all this fake paperwork, or they will fill out actual court forms, but, like, with nonsense. It's been referred to as, like, paper terrorism, because it clogs up the system so much with just nonsense. So he's probably doing stuff like that, and he may be trying to appropriate their seal for something, but I don't know. I don't know how seriously the court would take it, because it probably doesn't look that much like an actual legal document. I've seen some of the SovCit stuff, it's nonsense.
we're at the position where if we're gonna do that again, then the conditions of release simply need to be amended.
Online
Back in
connection
custody,
class.
you're
Paint anything
taking that
cool?
evaluation.
Okay.
Last time we were here, you agreed under what you described as duress,
Okay.
that you would engage in that evaluation out of custody. And I
Okay.
wanna make sure you're still on that same page, that you're
Okay.
agreeing, although it's something you don't wanna do, and you're,
And it's going to be public. The evaluation has to be public. Because I don't trust you private individuals, because look at what you're doing.
so, Mr.
I don't
Mr. Smith,
understand what do you think. It has to be public? The evaluation has to be public? Meaning... Okay, in my head, I think I might understand what he means. For a sovereign citizen, a lot of their mythology involves the government and the judiciary secretly being a private business, a private corporation. So when he's saying public and private, I think he means the opposite of what the actual meaning is. Because in his mythology, they're kind of reversed. So when he says private, he actually means, I don't want to do the evaluation through the courts people, I want to do the evaluation through someone out in public, as in a private therapist or something who does evaluations, a private psychologist. But he means in the public as in outside of the government, which he believes to be a private entity.
part of that order is he can engage in the evaluation.
Hello, Bleep, Blop, and
Be there,
Rocksteady.
and really that's
How's it
between
going?
however that evaluation goes between, between you, between Mr. Smith and
I'm just gonna start putting in resumes to different courts and my job will be as a translator, but specifically for sovereign citizens. I'm not a lawyer. I'll just sit there and I'll explain to the judge, this is what they're trying, this is what they mean. They mean this. It's nonsense, but this is what they're trying to say to you.
Between the evaluator. So that's something I can't make a decision about whether it's public or not. This is your private information. So you're going to have to leave it up to the evaluator if you want to somehow publicize this or have somebody looking at it. That's your decision in combination with the evaluator. Okay?
What do I think he means by we'll see if this is real? That's a good question. I think in general it's sort of a... I think it's sort of a boast, a brag, that's not the word I'm thinking of. It's almost like a chest thump, like come on, let's do this. Like we'll see what's gonna happen. He's confident in his assertion that what he is doing, he will prevail in the end, even if it means suing the judge, which of course wouldn't do anything because I don't think the judge is in the wrong here. But he thinks ultimately, even if it is strife for him, in the long run, he will win. So it's kind of like a, yeah, we'll see. You'll see. You'll all see. At least that's my take on it. Haunt? Yeah.
It's my turn now? Okay, so, again, I need to assess why it has to be your people, because I've experienced this before. I've already had one independent, and you are rejecting that. So tell me why this specifically has to be your people. Because hold on. Because your person can tell me to my face and write down this and that and the third, and then report and say, oh, he's suffering from psychotic disorder, NOS, not otherwise specified, yada, yada, yada.
That seems specific.
So that's the problem. So if we can get an independent party, then, yeah, I will consider it. But, no, I'm not seeing your people.
Mr. Elbanks, you said that you were going to get your own private evaluation.
And I provided it.
That actually reminds me of a while back, because I'm assuming the way he's saying that is that that's happened before, is he's had an evaluation or something and got psychotic disorder, not otherwise stated or whatever, NOS, not otherwise specified. Sorry, that's the acronym, which basically just means the evaluator says, like, they seem to have some sort of delusion, but I don't know what specifically, but they seem to have some sort of delusional thing. And it takes me back to when we were watching a week or so ago that psychiatrist or psychologist, whichever it was, psychiatrist, because he had an MD, and he talked about doing court evaluations for sovereign citizens and how he feels that despite the fact that they have erroneous beliefs, that they aren't necessarily falling under anything that's in the DSM. Like, they don't necessarily have, like, a clinical thing going on, and that doesn't mean that this guy is or isn't. You can be, you know, healthy or ill, completely separate from the sovereign citizen ideology. But it does just make me think about that, how if someone sat down and you had, like, 15 minutes or even an hour to talk to a sovereign citizen and evaluate them, and you don't really know anything about the sovereign citizen thing, you would probably, no matter what, assume that they were something. I don't know what. But you might assume that they weren't competent when in reality, like, they might not be competent colloquially, but in the legal sense they might be. It's just that they're wrong? It just depends. I don't know.
For the court, going to use that instead, and the court said that was fine, but you haven't
This
done
is
it.
just my opinion, but this guy does seem like he maybe has something going on. But that's just a vibe. I have no right to, like, say that. Just, that's my read.
What do you mean? I provided the proof.
Proof of what?
He does.
Mental evaluation.
For sure.
When?
The last time we were in court. You don't have it
You
now?
wanted a new one.
Yes, he's going to demand combat at the prosecutor at some point in this. We're actually close to it, I think.
Who wanted a new one?
You need one that's contemporary. A couple of things. One is, you talked before about some of the other experiences you had. I want to be clear again that this is not any sort of restoration evaluation. It's not sending any sort of order of restoration. It's not any order that requires medication. nothing about a blood draw, anything like that.
Can you give me 48 hours to inspect all paperwork, all contracts that is supporting the transaction?
One second, let me finish and we'll get back to that. And all this is speaking with somebody.
It's yada 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 legal defense. No, not generally.
There's no treatment, no medication, nothing. Okay, so I want to be clear about this evaluation. The authority is the statute.
It's fair the judge is trying to express to him, like, hey, this evaluation isn't going to have any impact. Like, we're not going to make you go anywhere. We're not going to force you on medication. It's just about whether or not you're competent to be your own attorney. It has nothing to do with you being forced into a stay anywhere, being, you know, which is fair, because if you're someone who's ever, you know, dealt with, like, mental illness and particular stuff that might get you put in, you know, a hospital involuntarily for a while, you might be wary about talking to professionals because you're afraid that's going to happen again. So I think that's a fair thing for him to bring up in case that's what's making the guy anxious.
That provides that Washington State Health Services can provide these evaluations by court order. You are welcome to submit one. Mr. Smith has talked to you about that. The court file is public. I think in the past, gone to the court, gotten files or copies of the files. They're all there. Where I'm left is something that you just said, is you will not engage in this evaluation whatsoever.
Because I don't have a reason why. Why?
Because you're ordered to do it out of custody.
Who has the order? Tell me what reason, what authority does that...
Mr. Banksdale.
That's all you have to tell me is where the authority comes from.
Mr. Banksdale has gone over this. If you'd like a copy of that out of custody order, that orders the evaluation, I can give you that. And it goes over the The problem is, if we leave here, or not leave here, if we can't get to the point where you agree that you'll engage, even if it's under duress and something that you don't want to do.
I've been called for jury duty, and I've never been actually even, like, voir dired. Like, I've never been, like, asked questions. I've only ever been in the waiting room. But even if I was, I wouldn't try and get out of being in jury duty. I'd do it. I feel like I need to. I don't know. I feel like a responsibility. Like, if I get called for jury duty, I don't know. Like, what if it was a trial where, I don't know. It's just not something I feel the need to get out of, especially because this is my job, right? Like, it'd be one thing if I had a day job that, like, I needed to do and I was, like, barely hanging on and whatever. That'd be one thing. But I do this for a living. I have no justification to try and get out of jury duty. So no, I would go and I would do it and try and do my best, honestly. I'm boring. Sorry.
In this out-of-custody evaluation, the only option that I have is to amend the conditions of release, set bail.
That said, I would be honest, too. So, like, if they were asking me, like, how do you feel about police? Do you always, like, how do you, like, if a police gave testimony, would you trust them? And my answer would probably have to be, like, not just because they're a cop, it would depend on the testimony. And I don't know, that might be enough to get me struck. I don't know. I would be honest about my beliefs, but I wouldn't try to get, you know, kicked off intentionally. Cloud Wizard says, I think we'd all be excused from jury duty when they say that cops lie just as much as anyone else. Just as much? Generous.
And then you'll engage in it in custody.
I've already given my declaration of political separation. You're free to do whatever. Notice has been put in the living trust for protection with the Sheriff's Department, with the U.S. Marshals, and the Police Department. So that makes their departments liable. So whatever orders, paperwork you want to push through, if they want to put themselves on the line to defend you, then so be it. But I have made my will as a man. I'm a reasonable man.
Smart voir dire questions are like, what's your favorite radio station? My answer would be radio station. How old do you think I am?
Non-violent. I don't talk. But what you're trying to do, what you're doing to compel me to do something that I do not wish to do as an ordinary man, that's unacceptable, man. That enrages me. I'm willing to call mutual combat since we can't settle it on paper.
Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
I'm willing to call mutual combat since we can't settle it on paper. Let's.
Don't challenge the court to a street fight. I cannot emphasize how bad of an idea that is. Captain Squid says, the sob sit.
Settle it
What if he puts in a code for a friendship? Does he get acquitted?
like men.
All right, this is your final opportunity. Are we going to engage in the out-of-custody evaluation as ordered? Or do we...
My political will has been made known publicly.
What's the current conditions of release set at?
Go ahead, man. Do your will. Oh, I'll stay and get it on because this is live on Facebook anyway. We're going to see.
All right. Yeah, please. So I'm going to call the, have an officer here. I'm amending the conditions for bail. Previously ordered.
I'm gone.
Yeah, he was about to have him put into custody, I believe, and now he's going to try and run from the courtroom. Which is also not a good thing to do if you're already under arrest.
Gone.
Bail's going to be forfeited.
I'm gone.
And I'm setting bail right now in the amount of $200,000.
$200,000. Oh. Wow.
Mr. Banksell, you've had the opportunity to engage in this out-of-custody evaluation multiple times. You're not following
I don't even know what he was in court for, to be honest.
So you're going to strong... Okay.
I'm setting bail in the amount. Your bail is...
Nah. See?
Mr. Banksell, the opportunity is over, unfortunately. Your bail, your bond is being forfeited.
All right.
It's being set in the amount of $200,000.
Yeah. Well, that's a crime. That's for the public. Hey.
Welcome to stay here.
No, sir. You've been served a summons. If you go and do that, come on. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. I ain't playing that shit. $200,000. $200,000 to have me. That's one of them right there. Look at her. She was on the case, too. Fucking fraud. $200,000 gonna put me in jail. All right. Fuck that.
Wonder how far he got. Although, he did upload this. So, that was 11 days ago. One sec. I think Van covered this. He might have an update at the end. Let's see.
She was on the case too.
And available. Right, so that's where the live stream ends. I guess there were no law enforcement available at that time to take him into custody for whatever reason.
Man, this court has a shortage
I guess
of bailiffs. The first time he threatened to kidnap the judge. Wow.
They still haven't caught up with him because at the time of this recording, his Facebook account is still active. But his bail was amended to $200,000 and he was ordered to have an in-custody competency evaluation. So it's only a matter of time. Right.
Jeesh. Hope the judge is safe. That guy was a little unhinged. Alright, what is next? How's Cat Espinoza been? Let's learn about tactical civics. I know she mentioned that term in one of the videos we watched the other day, and someone was like, what is tactical civics? Let's find out.
Hello, good men, women, and children. This is Kat Espinda with One New Earth, and welcome to my show. Today I have Bill Ogden with Tactical Civics here, and he has been on my show before. He's here to talk about what they're doing, how they're growing, and he was recently on the 18-hour live marathon with Pete Santilli, Scott McKay, Patriot Street
Yeah, he
Fighter,
just
and Ann
left.
Vander.
I assume they'll pick him up again. That happens a lot with sovereign citizens. They'll, like, get a bond or something, and then they'll leave, and they don't think the court has power over them, so they just run away, and then they get caught because they don't often use, like, driver's licenses or insurance or license plates because they think they don't need them, and they end up getting pulled over eventually.
Steel, just talking about what they're doing, kind of laying it all out on the table. There's some pep in his step, some fire in what he was saying.
Tactical Civics, Patriot Street Fighter, I'm seeing a theme. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of in-group signifiers surrounding, like, flags and guns and, like, but more like militia-y type patriotism. Like, it's very separate from the thin blue line type stuff because they hate cops. They hate them. So a lot of it is, like, militia themed. Imagine like a hotel room themed after a militia. That's the vibe.
And I really appreciate Bill for getting in there and doing what he needs to do, because we all see what's going on in America with our politicians, with people that are obviously not working and upholding the Constitution.
I wouldn't say he was rewarded, Alex. I would say he was rewarded with another warrant and a $200,000 bond. Like, he will get picked up eventually. Frankly, like there just wasn't a cop there. It is what it is.
Which is what we need in our country. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Bill on. Hello, Bill. How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. So thank you so much again for coming on my show again. I know that there's been quite a bit of growth since the last time we talked. And I think there was only 2 people.
They knew he was difficult. Yeah. I meant, like there was no one there. Let me put it this. He seemed erratic. I would rather they let him go and get away from this situation where there's a lot of people and then they can pick him up later. They probably have his address. They probably know, identifying things. Like, they have him in the system. So I assume at some point they can get him in a situation where he might not be around so many people,
People in Benton County or in this area when I first started. We've got about 10 people right now, and we're having our first breakfast here in Benton County this Saturday at 10 a.m. So if
that's the problem, though, with stuff like that. He doesn't even want a competency evaluation. And if you're that hesitant, like, a big problem with people who suffer from, like, certain illness is that the illness itself makes it difficult for them to get help. It makes them not want to, It sucks.
If you were in Benton County or Washington State,
like, if you already don't trust the system, you're not going to trust a system that says, hey, like, we want to help you, maybe.
Surrounding county, and you would like to find out what Tactical Civics is about, please contact me at onenewearth@pm.me. I have signed up. I am a part of the Tactical Civics. And what I love about it is that they welcome all, but just ask that we keep our focus on, what's at hand and what's going on in our country. So, I totally agree with that, having task force and One New Earth, people come in with all their ideas, and that's all great. We all have our own ideas and opinions about things, but for the ones who are awake, we see what's going on, and the people at the top are leading people in the wrong direction. And if we don't start standing up for our freedoms and using our voices to speak the truth, because truth is sovereign, then we could lose everything. So it's very important. I really am excited with what Tactical Civics is doing. So Bill, Why don't you tell us? You were just on the 18-hour marathon, and you met with probably a lot of other patriots since then,
I know
and
we
you've been
watched up to a
growing.
certain point
Give
on
us an
this a while
update.
ago.
What's going on throughout the country, and how are you guys growing, and what's going on?
I believe I saw last night that we are in every county now. We're got a flag planted everywhere.
Oh my
Our
gosh, that's awesome.
our numbers are just raging, uh, and it's because people have begun to catch on that there's a lot of not answers. We all hear a lot of things that aren't the answer, and there's an expression: "Truth is sweet to the ears." When you hear the solution, you go, "Oh, well, that makes sense." And so
That's not good. That's directly expressing motivated reasoning. That's directly expressing that you just trust answers that already conform to what you want to hear. That's not good. Oh no. I hate when they say the quiet part out loud. That's just intuitive thinking. Derogatory.
we've been messaging as hard as we can, in as many places as we can.
Yeah, this is the woman who did an interview with Marcel.
And to all who are looking to solve the problem, and that's really where I came in. I just wanted to problem solve. I don't want to leave this mess to my grandchildren, great grandchildren, and so on. It wasn't left to me; it was left in better condition. I think they say the American ideal is everyone wants their children to have it better than we did, and so we had freedom. My mother used to feed us and kick us out of the house and tell us to come back at sundown.
Oh god, it's just boomer stuff. He's a sovereign boomer.
If she wanted us for something, she'd stand on the porch and call us like you called.
Why didn't you guys build walkable cities then?
The dog. No offense to the dog, but you just turn us loose. And so we're up a tree somewhere or in somebody's barn somewhere. Just think about the world we're in now and letting your children or grandchildren go run and play in the stream or do all the things that I
in a stream. Where? Where do you think everyone's kids live?
Remember vividly doing. And the reason we don't is because there's a cloud over the light of freedom in this country. There's a concern that about the institutions and individuals that we structured. Are they actually providing that?
I'm so curious when they're going to get to specific grievances. So far, it's been very vague and about the truth,
which we intended for
tyranny
for them to provide.
Buzzwords.
And when I was in the search for answers, not that I've quit looking, I'm trying to refine what I think I've found. I waded through an awful lot of material, and one day I heard the basic premise of tactical civics, and that is we're going to enforce the Constitution for a change. If we're going to live in a free...
That's still incredibly vague. We're going to enforce the Constitution for a change. Sir, what's your interpretation of the Constitution? Fenakagami says, I'm finally on my way home. I know you mentioned looking into tankies, but I'd advise caution. A distressing number of the biggest lefty creators are tankies. Tanky adjacent or friends with them. Like to give perspective, the Deprogram podcast are all tankies, and Hassan is basically a tanky. Is he? I don't know that much about Hassan, but is he? I don't know if that's true. And I don't even know why I don't know anything. I don't watch Hassan. I don't know. This is like when I talked about the last like discourse thing and people got all upset because I don't know anything about shit. Anyway, and the disagreement he and Ethan Klein had on Hamas led to harassment so bad Ethan canceled Leftovers. I fucking hate internet drama. I'm just not talking about other people.
Free country, we have an obligation to participate in those organs of governance, self-governance, that contribute to keeping us free, and that the problems that we currently face, we would not be facing had we enforced the Constitution all along. And so it becomes a very simple premise.
He's saying this like he thinks what the Constitution means is obvious what he means when he says that. It's not. He clearly has a very specific interpretation in mind. Express it.
I hear a lot. You're right. I talk to people all over the Republic, Alaska. I haven't talked to anybody in Hawaii yet, but I've talked to darn near everywhere else. And a lot of times people get on a riff and they start saying, well, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. We, there was one interviewer that said, my daughter went to the best schools and they didn't teach her the Constitution. Then she went to the best college and they didn't. I said,
That's definitely not true. I don't think there's a single school in the United States that isn't going to teach you about the Constitution. So that's just a lie. That's just a lie.
This is going to sting, but that's your responsibility.
That's right.
Your kids, if you want them to know something, you had better be the one to tell them. And that comes down to freedom. I was on a podcast with somebody and they said the founders were genius.
Like, I'm just trying to think in my schooling, and I was in both, for my elementary, I was in a private Baptist school, and then for the rest of it, from like middle school onward through high school, I was in a public school. The Constitution was mentioned at least once a year. It was not some weird thing. It's a founding, like, legal document of the United States. It comes up.
Geniuses. Maybe. I thought about it for a minute. But maybe they weren't really any smarter than you and I, but they had a hunger and a thirst for freedom. And so they studied it constantly. It was a topic of their dinner conversations. They wanted the yoke off their necks that the crown was keeping on them. And when you read the
Founding father fetishization,
language of the Declaration of the Constitution, it's very clear. They just wanted to be left alone to prosper for a change. The language, when a long train of abuses and usurpations have occurred. We're in the abuse and usurpation stage. And so Thomas Jefferson has a quote that I like a lot. The man that wants to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization never was and never can be. We didn't know what our role was. We forgot it. This is a pilot's term, we got big, fat, and happy. Dad was a private pilot. He said, you're in real danger when you're up there flying around and the sky's blue and the clouds are white. It's just, you're big, fat, and happy. That's usually when something goes wrong. Well, that's where we have been as a republic. We just assumed everything would be handled on our behalf. No, we have to handle it. Part of responsibility and stewardship is we have to jump in.
Tell me what you're going to do.
And you cut me when you need to, because I'll just keep rolling here.
Okay, no, I will. I want to hear what you have to say. Go for it.
I work a lot with messaging, my own personal, at least. We asked a lot of people to join, and a lot of people have joined. But now I'm asking them to join and engage. It's not enough to be a member on a log. You've got to actually engage with the process. And engagement means that you're going to learn what we do and what we're doing so that you can help us get it done. And learning starts with
we're going to do what we do, and when we do the thing we do, you're going to help us do the thing we do to get it done. We're going to do the thing we do. It's going to get done, and when we do it, you'll be there doing it with us. It will be done. What are you doing?
Reading the Great Reset.
This is like some kind of bad sketch.
Learn what we do and what we're doing so that you can help us get it done. And learning starts with reading the Great Reset. And I know some people are
oh good, we're getting into like QAnon shit.
Challenged by that book. I was. There were things in it I didn't, they didn't square with what I thought I knew. But the freedom sure sounds sweet to me. And the basics of enforcing.
I am so curious what freedoms he thinks he doesn't have right now. Like, what specific freedom do you think that you do not have right now that you are aiming for?
And here's how we're going to do it. Yeah, I'm about that all day long. In there's a section about the pledge to the flag, and they call it the Bellamy Pledge and so on. And there's issue with the Bellamy Pledge. And I took a browbeating one day from about 4 people over the pledge. What's your problem with the pledge? I said, I don't have a problem with the pledge. I just want to do the same one that Jefferson used. Yeah, well, you can do that. I said, because Jefferson didn't use one. There wasn't one then. It was added later to our culture. And we make all the little kiddies stand up and pledge to the central flag of the foreign entity inside the boundaries of Washington, D.C., and we call that patriotism when perhaps it's blind allegiance to some things that maybe aren't going our direction. Engagement means learning that which has to be learned through reading. We have a training center, Tactical Civics Training Center. Can be accessed at members.tacticalcivics.com, and you have your login and so on. That's where you connect to the community vicariously. We are transitioning right now. You talked about a breakfast that y'all are having in your county. Tactical Civics will operate on the ground in each county, and you'll know the people in the meeting with you. When we started out, when I joined a year ago, we were sparse across the Republic. And so you're going to have to connect vicariously as you and I are doing now. But we still need to connect. You know, we still need to pick up the phone and call people.
This just sounds like he's trying to set up militias for boomers.
We cannot, in isolation, do this. There's information we
Like,
need.
am I wrong? That's all I've gotten. We're 10 minutes into this, and it feels like he's kind of trying to set up milk toast, like boomer militias that fill out paperwork.
Need to learn through the connection. Currently, I have a project on the training center where I'm asking people, what do you do when you come in here? Why do you use the training center? Because I think that can be shared with other people. The analogies I've been using are several. You know, in my little county, I don't know what your what's your county population?
We have, I'm not sure the county, Tri-Cities is about 300.
All of which sounds like a good idea to me, that we ought to have it. But I take a different tack. My great-great-great-great-grandfather was the first settler in this county in 1797. He had moved 8 times in
Who cares?
40 years. He was 62 when he came here to the wilderness.
I'm gonna give it like another 3 minutes. If you're bored with this, I also kind of am. Like, I'm interested, but I need to go into this myself and find the more interesting bits if I'm gonna show this to you guys. I'm sorry.
62. Walked up or came up the river the wrong way and all that. I asked people, did he call the sheriff when there was a problem, or did he call the state police, do you think? Or did the township? And the answer is none of the...
Oh, shit. It's posse comitatus shit. It's posse comitatus shit. It's the thing where they think the sheriff is the most powerful person in the county and can tell federal agents to go away.
Above. He was law enforcement.
It's like tax protester, white nationalist shit.
He's the only guy.
I see why he's being vague.
Here, he was code enforcement. He was the dog officer. He was streets. He was, you know, when we had enough people, we outsourced. We hired people to do those other things. Militia absolutely has a role in law enforcement.
There we go.
Especially in a world where the hired law enforcement isn't clearing half the crimes on the docket.
Yep, here it is. Basically, this harkens back to a time after desegregation was the law of the land federally. So once that happened, there were some areas where people were not super happy about that. Places in the South. Anyway, there were people who started the posse comitatus movement who basically tried to say, hey, the sheriff is the most powerful person around here, and federal people can't come in and make us desegregate, or he can dictate that, oh, I'm deputizing these, you know, people from the community, and they're, you know, some white good old boys that are gonna enforce justice, quote unquote shit. Not good. A lot of the sovereign citizen stuff came out of the posse comitatus movement, like some of their mythology, but usually they've dropped this shit. Kind of feels like he's still into that stuff. I don't know for sure he's into the racist stuff, but my alarms are up for the racist stuff. Discordant Vole with 30 months says, oh boy, martial law fantasies. Penikagami says, here's some bits to apologize for stressing you out earlier. I'm really gonna start driving now. Gonna lurk for 30 minutes. Drive safe. It's okay. I'm just trying not to... I just don't want to stir up fights in chat. I don't want chat to get all upset with each other or me.
And we're not talking about a vigilante group. We're not talking about...
We're not talking about a vigilante group because they've been deputized by the sheriff. I feel like you're kind of like, yeah, semantically you are correct, but like ethically, no. It sounds like you want to do specific things.
Persecuting John and Beth Dutton. We're not talking about any of the scary things. We're simply talking about the same kind of thing that was talked about in Judges chapter 6, 7, and 8. You know this story, I'm sure. Gideon. Gideon was the least of his tribe, and his tribe was the least in Israel, and the Midianites had been mean to them for years. So Gideon's hiding out in a wine press, trying to clean up enough grain without anybody seeing him because he didn't want to be persecuted. And he and God
I
went
feel like we're getting some Christian nationalism on top of it too.
through a whole thing
the
about
world's worst ice cream sundae.
He's going to smite the Midianites. And he did that. He went, destroyed their altar and killed their bull, and that irritated them greatly. And so they came into the valley to get him. He went out and blew the shofar, the ram's horn. 32,000 men and boys capable of carrying swords responded. That, I will suggest, is a militia. When you blow the shofar and people come with swords, that's a militia. That's law enforcement.
I mean, they're whatever.
What do you need? They didn't know.
I don't think that's the equivalent. I don't think that's what the Bible story is getting to, sir. Paradona says, I got a feeling this is going to get anti-Semitic real quick. Feels Christian nationalist, which, yeah, probably. H. Baird says, at least vigilante groups don't do horrifying things like beating up a random guy on TV and claim he was an illegal immigrant. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I didn't even cover that, did I? Holy shit. That was fucked.
Why they were coming. They heard the alarm and came. And so that's my 80,000 ones that heard the horn. There in my county, there's 60,000 registered voters. Those people become the jury pool for a grand jury. They can be drawn, 25 of them can sit. They can investigate whatever needs investigated to see that the government is operating correctly. If we have different departments or branches that are usurping their power or not doing their duties or stealing the money, or if we just want to proctor and make sure it's running as designed, we, the people, have an oversight role in this thing. We don't just vote them in and go on about our business and hope the Super Bowl is exciting. Have you seen the commercials? No.
If you want to do some sort of oversight committee, that's fine, but I kind of feel like I'm concerned about what you consider to be malfeasance in office with all this weird Christian nationalist QAnon-y stuff. Jen Graham with a £2 super chat says he's worse at getting to the point than my stories.
We, the people, have an actual obligation to our own republic.
People,
and that's what the grand jury's for. It's oversight. They are equal to the judge, superior to the sheriff and the prosecutor. All resources of the courthouse are available to the grand jury.
Chat, by the way.
They can investigate whatever they feel they need to investigate, issue subpoenas and search warrants. If you have an issue where the higher law enforcement has a conflict of interest, that's where the lawful militia can serve a subpoena. It's not long guns and Rambo and all that. It's simply law enforcement as it was always intended to be. And then in the story of Gideon,
oh yeah, I've seen plenty of that chicken bacon Swiss.
The story,
which is funny because like Taylor Swift didn't even end up doing the thing they claimed she would do if that team won. So like, what was the point?
Says that God wanted it to be a miracle of God, not a miracle of the people. He says the 32,000 is too many for this. He said, why don't you tell everybody who's scared to go home? Everybody who's afraid you're going to get their name on a watch list, or everybody who's nervous about, participating in whatever. So 22.
Okay, I'm bailing on this guy. Let's get you something interesting. I feel like I've bored you, and I owe you in return.
You all set?
Yes, Your Honor.
There we go. All right, go ahead.
Your Honor.
Oh, Captain Squid says, I thought Bill sounded familiar.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Discordant Fool says, and there goes half of the audience. There goes half of his audience. They're all about the long guns and Rambo fantasies. Oh.
I've spoken with Mr. Boulay, and Mr. Boulay is indicating that he is likely to hire private counsel on his matter, or either will be representing himself
All right.
I do not believe he's confirming for trial on the 3rd.
Yeah, the problem here is I believe this defendant is going to claim he wants to hire his own counsel, but he doesn't want it to be an attorney because he doesn't trust attorneys. So he wants to hire someone that's like a sovereign citizen type to be his quote-unquote counsel, but of course you can't hire a non-attorney to represent you. You can represent yourself in court, but you can't have just some random person represent you. That's not allowed. So that's going to be a point of contention. It's interesting. Discordant Vol says in the... Oh, sorry, I read that. There was a hydrate command, though.
3rd or the 7th, 6th or the 7th, I believe we will need to make new court dates.
All right. So, Mr. Boulay, are you trying to hire a private attorney to represent you in this case then?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Or my constitutional representative. I mean, you know,
All right.
all the laws, all my laws are violated against me. You know, all my rights are taken from me and stuff like that. And I'm not happy about it. Everything was wrong. They don't have an RAS, SAF, none of that stuff. I mean, what they did was totally wrong. They assaulted me, incarcerated
Black's Law Dictionary request. What would you like me to look up, Discordant Vol?
me, kidnapped me, and handcuffed my cousin, 65 years old, never been in trouble in her day of her life, and got handcuffed right in our house. They had no reason to come to my house. So, you know, I'm not happy about this. And this is not going to go over easy for you guys.
All right, Mr. Boulay, I'm going to set your case aside for you to calm down, take a breath, and
Action, conduct, behavior, something done, the condition of acting, an act or series of acts. Term in its usual length, or rather, term in its usual legal sense means a lawsuit brought in a court, a formal complaint within the jurisdiction of a court of law, the legal and formal demand of one's right from another person or party made and insisted on the court of justice, an ordinary proceeding in a court of justice by which one party prosecutes another for the enforcement or protection of a right, the redress or prevention of a wrong, or the punishment of a public offense.
be ready to address the court properly.
Skip Azoa, thanks for 34 months at tier 2, says 34 months. I hear there's a rule about that. God damn it.
But first, I'm going to handle some other cases. In the meantime, your microphone's going to be muted, and I expect you to leave it that way until your case is called again. All right, Mr. Boulay, you still with us?
Your Honor, I might temper my Mr. Boulay is a constitutionalist.
That seems... That's a very kind way to put sovereign citizen. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says Twitch Mobile wouldn't let me do this. Do bits. Had to wait till I got home to the laptop, stupid app. Well, thank you for the bits.
And Mr. Boulay feels...
Took 34 months for that joke? Yeah, you didn't even like the channel at all. It was just for that bit. Was it worth it?
Strongly that...
What qualifies someone to defend another in court? Being a lawyer, like going to law school, passing the bar, you know, stuff like that.
He would like...
I imagine each state has specific guidelines, but I know passing the bar is one of them.
To secure an attorney that can state his position to the court or either represent himself on this matter. I'm not sure if the court remembers Mr. Boulay, but Mr. Boulay was before this court back in December when I was in Arizona, and he objected to our trial dates being reset outside of his very important right to a speedy trial. At that hearing, the court indicated that the court actually set January court dates.
Current Vol says civility and decorum protect most vigorously those who value them least, I feel. I guess.
For our confirmation and jury trial dates. Those dates somehow slipped between the cracks, and were not ever attended. Subsequently, his case was reset now for February court dates. But I can represent to the court that Mr. Boulay has, from the inception of his case, strongly noted his opinion about not continuing his trial dates. I believe they may have been continued more than once, but they were all continued for what the court found was good cause. However, Mr. Boulay did not agree with the court's position on those matters. He is obviously before the court now. And I just wanted to give the court a little backstory on Mr. Boulay's representations to the court today by just letting the court know that he is what I would term a constitutionalist. Maybe the court can hear from Mr. Boulay himself.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Boulay, what I want to know is what you want to do about representation, whether that's Ms. Rowe, another attorney, or yourself. And in light of that, how does that affect the trial dates that we have set for you for March 6th?
It affects it. Discoveries get here and all that stuff, because once I get my discoveries and stuff like that, I'm gonna just send a motion in there on dismissal, first of all. And
Right.
as far as me getting an attorney, that'll take me probably a year, because I'm on Social Security disability. I get peanuts. I get saved for an attorney. It's going to take at least a year to save for it. So you're better off if I go myself. But I've got a constitutional attorney for us, and I'm going to get him, hopefully, to come take care of it for me. Are you there? Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Boulay, I can hear you.
Okay. I mean, I didn't ask for any continuance. I don't know what happened in January. I never even heard of January. So I have never, yeah. I mean, is there an SA, excuse me, sir, is there an SAF filed at all in those paperwork?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Reasonable articulate suspicion that I committed a crime? If they don't have that, do they have an SAF
RAS
in their report?
Previously found, Your Honor.
I'm not going to go down this path like this.
Well, I understand that, but you guys are intruding my path. Now,
mute his microphone, please. All right, and Mr. Boulay, and for the record, I've had your microphone muted because you're not answering my question as I had asked you to do earlier, and you're agitated and talking about things that apparently don't have anything to do with the question that I asked. Ms. Rowe, Mr. Thompson, my inclination is to leave this case set as is for trial on March 6th. I mean, what I'm hearing here, if I can distill it down to what's being said, is that Mr. Boulay is just upset about this whole thing, and he has an opinion most direct any request that he made and knows how to behave properly in court. So I expect that will be the case.
Oh yeah, he does do his own attorney thing. Fuck. Sorry, I gotta pick a different video. I'm picking bad videos today. Let's do a Marcel. Fuck it. Which one had Marcel in it? Was it this one? Sure, this is a interview, one of those interviews Marcel did about his society thingies. Pick one with capital letters, that means it's good. That's usually how you indicate.
There should be something at the bottom that allows you to record as well, or I'll be uploading this to YouTube after, so I can always just send you the link to whatever works for you.
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll...
Marcel is, oh god. Marcel's posting interesting things on his, social media, by the way. He posted recently that he is afraid that people are shedding on him, like the conspiracy theories about vaccines. He thinks that people are shedding on him and it's making him feel stupider. So I'm a little concerned about him, but you know how Marcel is. He's been posting these, like, live things he did too. I can't show them because, like, the audio is so bad it's unlistenable, but he seems to be doing things again. He's not in cape mode.
We'll get about 35 minutes
Have I
per
seen anything about Pacific Drive? No.
Zoom recording here, and then if it runs out, I'll just reset up another one and just come back in after.
Okay, guys. Okay,
Wonderful.
so welcome. My name is David, and I'm a freedom fighter, freedom warrior for about 3 years now in Canada. I was I ran away from the Polish communist, Soviet communist regime from Poland as a child with my parents through the border illegally, as it got so bad that, you know, from 1980 to 89 was martial law. It was police hour, was daily ratings and beatings, and
No offense to this guy, but I need to start Marcel. And that's a while in, so I'm going to the Marcel part.
Right.
Thank you so much for talking with us. Private law. I'll introduce myself. I'm Marcel, the family Bassett. I found private law and sovereignty through personal claim of right, as well as founding your own sovereign society in 2009. I have a background as a sales consultant, so I just studied all the different...
For those who don't know about Marcel, he basically does a sovereign citizen MLM. So he tries to sell people on, like, thousands and thousands of dollar packages that he'll give them legal paperwork that makes them immune from society's rules. Basically tells people you don't have to pay taxes. So, you know, illegal shit. He's been arrested before for threatening a provincial governor. He was on a most wanted list in Winnipeg for a little bit. And I think we're up to date on Marcel.
Experts out there at the time. Everyone had a part of the answer.
And also, he's a judge, you're fucked.
So my goal was just to find all the answers, do it myself, prove if it worked or not. By about the second or third year into this, we figured out how to get the sovereign bank accounts. It's defined as outside the country. It's unregistered, unincorporated. It acknowledges your rights. And the paperwork that you do to found your society and claim your rights is all you need in order to open the account. And then we also have a sovereign identity document here that I'll show you guys. It's actually a lawyer attesting. It's a lawyer notary who does an identity document attesting to you standing under your own law.
He does that. He's so goddamn sneaky. Lawyer notary. So what he does is, I looked this up at some point, or someone told me, I don't remember the specifics, but in Canada, I guess, maybe not just Canada, but at the very least in Canada, there are situations where a lawyer can also act as a notary public, basically. A notary is someone who witnesses signing of a document. They're not checking the legality of the document, they're just making sure that you signed it and you are who you say you are. So by him saying, look at that, that's the signature of a of a lawyer notary, it makes it sound like I had a lawyer check this document, when in reality he had a lawyer that is a notary notarize it. He's doing double speak. He's implying, but not saying. Slimy. Incredibly slimy.
In your own society, as opposed to legality. So when we figured out the bank account side of it, I started having dames of justice from Knights of Jerusalem, ex-senators. I met Penrose Dominique. She's a priestess from Haiti, considered royalty pretty much. I met Popoy, people of the Salmon, Jacqueline Stump of the Chakotay Nation, David Harper, the Grand Chief of the...
He appropriates a lot of indigenous people stuff, so as to make himself seem more legitimate than he is. I also get the impression, I am not claiming any legal things, but it does seem that he has had tenuous relationships with certain indigenous groups in the past that lasted a short period, and then there was an angry separation. So my read on the situation, I guess, is that he approached these organizations acting as though he could help them in some way, help them with legal issues, because, you know, indigenous groups have to fight for legal rights against, you know, the government. My concern is that he was approaching these groups, maybe getting payments or giving them bad advice, and then they found out that he was maybe not legit like he seemed and got mad. I'm not saying that has happened, but maybe something like that could have occurred. Just a vibe. Discordant Vol says, all of that was super exploitative, just that whole sentence. Yeah.
The Cree Nation taught us how to do private law indigenous courts or sovereign courts that outrank legal code. It's a superior foreign jurisdictional judgment. We can all use that once you have your own societies to hold judges accountable. Those judgments get entered into the legal court clerk, and then the clerk and the judge have 30 days to enforce it. If they don't, they can be arrested by the legal system. I have a client named Robert.
Can they? Do you have any evidence of that ever happening, Marcel? Because the only evidence I have of any arrest related to you is yours.
Ritzman, he had the FBI arrest a judge and 30 attorneys because they're committing.
When? Show me proof of this. Show any proof of this ever.
Securities fraud, so how to audit the courts, do those processes against them. When you do your society, you get a fee schedule. So as an equal, an order cannot give an order to another equal. Everything has to be offers. So you become a contract for hire. So if any agent gives you an order, that makes them liable for your bill. We also understand how to notice them of willful negligence, which means they're doing something incompetent. You notice them and they keep doing it anyway, be it police or whoever. It removes their insurance bond and makes that agent fully liable financially and in private law.
All of the things he's saying are nonsense, by the way. The specifics are kind of not super relevant. You can tell he's just gish galloping. He's trying to just get out as much of this. He's a fast talker. He's always been in sales. He brings that up a lot, and you can tell.
Legal code. The nice thing about this is you can have your private rights, your private law, your private society, and still.
I don't recognize the person next to him. The thing about Marcel is people come in and out of his organization a lot. He never gets people for long, it seems. He'll have people in his videos once or twice, maybe for a month, maybe as long as like 3 months, but after that they tend to disappear. He has a tendency to alienate the people around him and push them away.
Use the legal system with all rights reserved. So you
He's
can
just
still
like me, for real, for real.
Get a phone contract.
I'm gonna go get some water. Be right back. Ugh. Chat, there was another chair. There were 2 chairs. You're only paying attention to one? Lame. Discordant Vol says, it's like someone trying to explain how the stack works in Magic the Gathering. Never played Magic the Gathering, so that's me.
But your rights are intact. And that's the answer to this digital banking stuff, basically. When you have your society, it's a separate legal entity, except for it's unregistered, unincorporated, but it's recognized legally. And that allows you to run your finances through it. It has its own line of credit. It's a generational trust. So if you pass away, you just appoint a new signing authority, and then they would take over the trust later. It protects your own sovereign rights held by Indigenous power. This is Tim.
My understanding of what Marcel actually does, by the way, is it seems he... Again, I'm not an expert on anything. This is just my impression of what is happening from what I've seen about the paperwork on his website. It seems like what he does is he effectively opens a non-profit bank account, like as if you are a non-profit organization for you, and then tells you to use it as a personal account. That's what it seems like he does. Something akin to a non-profit. And then the idea is if you have any sort of income or anything, you put it in here, and then you're not supposed to get taxed on it. And that is fraud? That's fraud. If it's not a real, like, non-profit or whatever, and you're just an individual just putting your personal income into the account and then acting as though it's for a nonprofit, that's fraud. So I'm not saying that's specifically what he's doing, but that seems to be what's happening from the paperwork he has people fill out and the bank accounts he's talking about.
He is going to be basically jumping in at some point. He understands more technical terminology for the linguistics of the words that we use. And then he's also been studying the equity courts, where you file an appeal on their judgment to the Supreme Court. It's de novo. It's a thing on the appeal form that you can check that basically moves you into an equity court. It basically removes the act and statute. You're an injured party, and I'll let him explain more about that in a few minutes. But what we're in the process of doing is basically we're going to be sending door-to-door teams out. We're relaunching under privatelawtrusts.org. The website.
This is when he actually changed names. It used to be Peacemaker Society, and now it's Private Law Trusts. I assume he just decided that Peacemaker Society came off as a little weird. It always became associated with him because he, you know, of course got arrested, and I think there were some articles that mentioned Peacemaker Society. And 3, if you see the logo in the back, it's like a peace sign, but also there's like a stick person, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks like a stick person with just a gigantic dong. So I do think that might be part of the rebranding. I always thought that Peacemaker Society logo was a little sus, so I'm glad that he rebranded. His new branding is better, but also he is peddling a scam, so that's not great.
We have right now is peacemakersociety.org. That's our.
It is ironic too that he was Peacemaker Society, but he was constantly threatening to hurt people, and how he's been in 500 street fights.
Results for the last 14 years. There's a thing called, I'll go on screen share here just for 1 second just to show you guys.
Yep.
And sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm just so excited to go through with this with you guys.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna share when it's in a video form. I will share.
Oh, this is his website too. His website's incredible. That's up to date. That's beautiful. That is a 100% modern website via 2023. I think this video came out, but you know, current year.
With everyone that everyone needs to hear.
So when you go to peacemakersociety.org, in the top left here, it says Freedom Package.
Hydrate.
So if you click that, we actually have, we had 44 people with master's degree, and all the things that we've done. Canada as a corporation, how not to contract, how to schedule an independent contractor agreement. So if you hire anyone or you have a group, if anyone false flags you or does anything they're not supposed to.
If anyone false flags you, what?
Supposed to, you are not liable for them. There's a banking administrative process for debt. That's how you qualify. Your society is there. Go through that. And then if you go to the bottom of the website here, we have an online teaching course. It's all rights. And then it's slow. Process 8. Dates makes you run it for 4 headings to pop up here 1 second.
Honestly, this presentation goes better when his internet's choppy.
Question
It sounds less like a scam when you hear fewer words.
Yeah, so with the process.
You know, but
you have a question, sorry? Okay, hold on 1 second. The audio's kind of going not great because
I don't know what he means by false flag in this context. I have no idea.
Using bandwidth subheading. So it's found your society purpose process. So it's a cheat sheet basically. So you search the name online, you get your domain, get a virtual office, send the 3 letters. So it breaks it down in points. These are the buttons to click. So this is the society, found your society, and then.
Oh my God. Oh no, I just realized why he gives you a website. In my head, I was always like, why in the world does he give you a website with this whole thing? It's so if the government ever tries to look if your organization is a real organization, there's a website. Canadian IRS looking into your obvious fraud. Well, I don't know, there's a Web 1.0 looking website. It must be a real charity or whatever.
Then the independent contract. This website's here. We have VIP Empire dummies. So whether you can compete with bill and lean people tax style take starts with just bound conflict resolution. There'll be more. Literally be limitless. Peacemakersociety.org. Just to recap. Freedom Package bottom. Our YouTube channel is here. There's good info on their commercials and different law shows we've done.
Is it good info? Don't know about that. Harold Elbleman with 50 bits says, I would pay money for a bigger grifter to run up on him in full Baron Samedi, whiskey, cigar, realistic makeup and all, and cleanse him of his sales demons on camera, of course. I didn't get that reference.
The university here, you click it, that takes you all of these. So we basically have coaching on every aspect of running. Is this button, which then will take you to the help and accountability. People who work for the Department of National Defense actually organize for us how to set up your administration, from your treasurer to whatever.
James
And
Bond
a lot
reference. Oh, gotcha. I've never seen James Bond.
People don't have the skill sets to run the admin side of their thing, or they don't know how to build websites. So with us coaching people, we're going to do all that for anyone who needs it. We'll do all the admin for you. We'll build your website. We have door-to-door people going globally starting in about a week and a half. So we can hand out information, any protests you guys are doing, any legal agent violating someone like Trevor, like that psychiatrist lady, we can pump it out globally. And
Dr. Garvin.
Yes, and that's where we can apply pressure to them in every single way possible. So basically, Peacemaker Society here is the results for 14 years. We're giving out, this is what we're giving out, door-to-door freedom tickets. So hi, we're giving away your
door-to-door freedom tickets, aka it's a business card. You could call it a business card, because that's what it is.
Free freedom ticket. We have information, 3 letters reclaims your right.
Is it old, or is he politely doing his grift again? This is 10 months old, but for the past 10 months he has been doing this. He is still putting out new stuff. He has not had a cape moment since this.
Turns out you sold your kid when you got a birth certificate, 3 letters.
That's typical sovereign citizen mythology. You did not sell your child. That's not what the birth certificate is.
Gets you title back, gets you out of income tax, all of that.
You know, this brings me right to a question. A lady asked me last night. She said, you know, that she really respects what I talk about and the wisdom shared. She's asked me.
Marcel, I don't think... the funny thing is, I think Marcel doesn't understand that the only thing that's kept him from getting in trouble for doing this is that his scam has never caught on. Like, Marcel has, we know, been arrested for the threats against a government official thing, but he's never actually been arrested for this, to my understanding, because he's never caught anyone and got them on the hook for this scam for very long. Like, at the longest, I think I've seen maybe someone stick around for 2 or 3 months. So I'm wondering if he understands, like, if he was actually successful in going door to door like this, like he wants to, and get a bunch of people to open these, like, seemingly, allegedly fraudulent bank accounts, like, they would get involved, like, the government would get involved. The only thing that is keeping you out of jail for this is your mediocrity. Huh.
When I have a child...
No association with the Queen of Canada that I know, Ramana Didulo. I don't think they've mentioned each other, ever.
At birth, does it become, when you sign that child, and sign that birth certificate, does it mean for her that that child now belongs to the government?
Basically, it's called hypothecate in a Black's Law.
Oh god, he's mentioning Black's Law Dictionary. Screaming at the Radio says, it probably also helps when your marks don't believe in the justice system. Yeah.
Law Dictionary, it means you're pledging that child's title to the national debt, and it can be seized at any time, but you still have the ability to use it in the meantime.
You feel like he's shielded by his own repellent personality? I don't know. He does bring people in for some period of time, and I'm sure he at least gets some money from them. I'm sure he's hurting people. At least it seems like it to me. That's my opinion. What do you want me to look up in Black's Law Dictionary? Hypothecate. Will do.
What you're doing with that form is you are incorporating your child to a bankrupt trust.
Nope.
So your name in all capital...
It's literally just a birth certificate. It's a bureaucratic document that exists to show the time, place, and parentage of your child. That's it. It's a record.
Letters. That's how it is on all on all legal ID. That's how you grammatically spell a bankrupt corporation. So birth certificates came out in 1933 in Canada and the USA.
Hypothecate. To be clear, this is Black's Law Dictionary 6th edition, so this is out of date. In fairness, sovereign citizens usually use this or an older edition, so... Hypothecate, to pledge property as security or collateral for a debt. Generally, there is no physical transfer of the pledged property to the lender, nor is the lender given title to the property, though he has the right to sell the property pledged upon default. So he's claiming that that's what they're doing with the birth certificate as a representative of your child. It's not. This ties into some people who are into, like, gold bug Federal Reserve conspiracies, which is big with libertarians and sovereign citizens. They believe that fiat currency is backed by your children. Dun dun dun. Soylent Green twist. Like, fiat currency is backed up by the government of the United States, by the gross, like, national product, like a lot of things. It's kind of an abstraction. It's not like literally your children. No one owns your children.
And that is the document they use to register you on an international exchange as a bankrupt corporation. And that bankruptcy is how they're able to issue fiat currency or legal tender.
Joke's on you. If you don't want to be traded as a stock, just make your stock worthless. That's what I've done. Huh, you think anyone's going to be trading on Hana coin? No. Worthless.
That is not backed by gold or silver. It's backed by the people's
Thank you for the link, Harold Edelman. There he is, talking about the gold-silver thing.
Registered property and your lifetime taxable value. The birth certificate is worth about $8 million. It's the lifetime value that you're taxable. As you get degrees and your income...
That's absurd. That's not true. But this is something that sovereign citizens believe, some of them, and they believe that they can access that. So if they get tickets or court fines or child support or anything that's like a bill, they literally think that they can sign that bill or ticket or whatever, and then put their social security number, which they think is linked to a bank account, and then a thumbprint in red ink or blood, and they think that that will pay the bill because it'll come out of their $8 million account. Of course, that's all not true. It's nonsense, but that's something they believe. Hydrate.
Level goes up, its value goes up, and it's about 12% interest a year that it accrues. That's what pays it for everything. Everyone thinks income tax pays for stuff. It doesn't. It's the federal transfer payments.
What does he think money is?
Are off of the insurance from the birth certificate bond, and all of that is referenced for all the naysayers out there. It's the 1985 Canadian Ownership Control and Determination Act. We actually have a copy of that.
Like, he's like, taxes don't pay for things, these arbitrary bank accounts do, but like, if that's how money worked, the government could just print as much money as they wanted and pay all their bills, but of course you can't really do that because that would lead to, like, inflation or hyperinflation because you can't flood the market with that much money because money is used to barter debts. It's used to pay debts, and debts are things we owe each other for doing, like, services or labor. Like, you can't just flood the market with it like that or else it's gonna fuck it up. You can't do that. That's not how things work, Marcel.
Act in the information we give out as well. There's a package that I send everyone when they enroll. Here, hold on. This is what we do at live events. I have a video up where we have about 30 people come out and we open societies for them in about 2 or 3 hours. So all the information
sounds legit.
Is in this, and we have it digitally. I can email it to anyone, and it's also in the Freedom package in that as well.
That's great. That's gonna go
it's
around.
Called a Freedom package. That's how you know it's legit.
Everywhere.
It smells like an American flag and a bald eagle had a baby.
And it reminds me of a little bit of what Ladies at Stanford they are doing in Ottawa and the Canadian Democratic.
Do I have Left Behind 2 on DVD? I do not. I don't have any of the Left Behind movies on any format.
Defense Association, which I am part of, and the Democratic Fund, trying to help. You guys are really deep into that. So, you know, I want to ask you a basic question. A lot of people that have that same question: how do I claim myself as a sovereign being?
Perfect. So it's 3 letters. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out what to call your society. So I Love Trees Society, I Love My Family, Trudeau for Treason, whatever you want it to be. And then basically there's...
Can I call my society the Wildcats?
3 letters that you
I never got to be on teams as a kid, so I never got to pick a name.
found. So how you people always hear due process, but what is that? So as an equal, we cannot give an order to another equal. We can
Oh boy.
only make offers and cure rights as per due process. So that's 3 letters. Letter 1, we ask questions.
Captain Squid says dibs on Justice Society.
So that's the notice.
Pretty good.
Notice of understanding is letter 1. So we just say, let's say you and I are neighbors, David, and there's a ball.
Discordant Vol says 3 letters. No, that's how you make a golem.
In the yard. We don't know whose ball it is, and I want to use that ball. So I send you letter 1 and say, hi neighbor, there's a ball in the yard. Do you mind if I use it? I believe I have the right to use it, and
a letter's a weird way to ask about a ball. Also, it is what?
Do you think I'm a good guy? Do you like me? If I do,
if I get this letter from my neighbor, I'm gonna be like, this. Oh God, I gotta move. Oh, I need to move right now. Right wheel. Great Lakes Avengers, even they didn't get away with that for long. Good luck with that. That's a cease and desist waiting to happen.
Do you use it? Are we going to get in a fight? Is it yours? Is it your wife's? So I send letter 1. They have 10 days to answer. So you have 10 days to answer. Silence is consent. So.
Oh no! That's the worst sentence that has ever been. Oh. Yeah, I didn't like that. Uh-oh.
Are we going to get in a fight? Is it yours? Is it your wife's? So I send letter 1. They have 10 days to answer. So you have 10 days to answer. Silence is consent.
So in sovereign citizen stuff, that's actually not uncommon, but that only goes one direction. They will send letters and stuff to the government and then say, if the government doesn't respond to me in X number of days, then everything I said in this letter is true, and they have to give me everything I asked for. But of course, in the opposite, when there are social expectations of them, for instance, the legal requirements to have a license and insurance, to operate a vehicle on public roadways, they say, no, I don't consent. That's not how this works. Discordant Vol says, looks like Frank sent us another monograph about the frisbees on our roof and another lien.
So as far as this example goes, when we're doing this to the corporation posing in fraud as government, they never answer us back in 14 years, and silence is consent. So I send you letter 1, you don't answer. After 10 business days, I send letter 2. Now this is a notice, this is the understanding and intent. So now I put my intent in there. So I answer the question. So there's a ball in the yard, can I use it? I answer it, yes.
This is like the most bullshit thing ever. You think if someone just ignores your insane letters, then you can take shit of theirs? You can't take their personal shit?
I'm your neighbor, do you love me? Yes, I think you're a great guy. You put in whatever answers you want, and we mail letter 2. So in letter 2, I just say, hi neighbor, you didn't answer letter 1, I'm sending you letter 2. If you don't answer in 10 days, the answers I've listed will count as your answers, that you're in agreement. So 10 days goes by, you don't answer. I now have an understanding between equals because questions were asked and then answered, and now I'm claiming the right. So the 3rd letter is a claim of right. I send that, and then it takes 30 days to cure as law. On day 31, if you don't answer, that ball becomes mine under private law. I can now
What do you mean under private law? That just sounds like you've decided. This is straight up like, I am the law. You can't take that.
Private security protected, and it's defensive property in the Criminal Code of Canada, defensive property with claim of right. And it just says that you and anyone employed by you is not criminally liable for defending any property held under claim of right, even against legal agents entitled to possess it.
Oh, God.
It says right under it, without claim of right, you have no right to defend anything. So it's equal force and all of that. But that's the actual act and statute that references it. And I have
his conception of the law and how everything works is horrifying.
A copy of it. They've amended it so that
like he's calm here. For those who haven't seen me cover Marcel on his more eccentric days, there are days when he like yells and screams and all sorts of stuff. And that's scary, but this is almost scarier because there's like a calm, cool-headedness about how he has no respect for other human beings.
claim a right isn't available online now, but you get a copy of that in the course basically. And then there's 2 other documents. There's a creation of society document, which is just what you're calling your society. And then there's your society oath. So the oath is just to cause no harm. So you can either just swear no harm, or if you have a belief in the
But you've
creator
done harm. You took their ball. That's harmed them.
or a religion, it's whatever that means to you. But it just says
That's too subjective. What if you're a serial killer that thinks you're not harming people when you serial kill them? You can't. That's not how society can run. You can't do that. Discordant Full says, "Oh no, that's a very dangerous way to view legal authority." Oh yeah, that's real bad.
you will not cause harm to life, liberty, property, or rights, and no fraud in contract.
But you took someone's
and that is
property
the
in this
actual law of the
hypothetical.
land.
You took their
Everything else is
personal
a derivative
property.
of that. And people say act and statute is law. It isn't. Act and statute is corporate rules given force of law only if there's a valid contract. And because every legal agreement is written in legalese, it all means something else. So there's no meeting of the minds. So in contract law, there's not one valid legal contract, and you have no obligation to a fraud.
Yeah. Marcel seems to be under the impression that because contracts are written with legal jargon, that means contracts are inherently unenforceable because people can't understand them because it's written in a foreign language, quote unquote. I've heard him say that before. So all contracts are null and void according to him. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he actually got that from David :Win guy. Sounds like something he said.
Fraud. So this 3 letters that you do forms a valid lawful understanding and agreement. It gives you diplomatic status with diplomatic immunity. You tell them to do a
diplomatic immunity
status determination when they go to act on you. They're willfully negligent, they're liable. Yeah, and I think I answered your question there. So it's 3 letters and then the oath and a creation of society document. And that gives you title back to everything. The 1925 Administration of Estates Act says a competent heir can reclaim dominion over anything held in a bankrupt trust. And Canada and the USA, as corporations posing as government, have been bankrupt since 1933. Before that, you had
33. It's always interesting to know when they decide to put the bankruptcy. The more racist ones usually put it at the ratification of, like, the 13th Amendment. The gold bug types tend to put it at the Federal Reserve, or, Black Tuesday, whatever. What was it, Black Friday? Which was the stock market crash that kicked off the Great Depression? Was that Black Tuesday? Was there a different word for that? Am I thinking of the 80s crash? Was that called Black Tuesday? There was a word for it. Anyway, some people think that's when. Either way, none of it ever happened. Black Monday. Discordant Vol says, refuse to become literate to gain immunity to all laws. Remember, what you don't know can't hurt you, ever.
Gold and silver backing money. Now we have the registered property of the people, their biological property, and their taxable lifetime value being registered to back a national debt. And in Canada, it's a USA-based corporation. And anyone who understands finances, you would never pledge assets under anything that's bankrupt. Ever.
Yes, and gold and silver, I think, will always be the currency to go with. I met a freedom fighter who spent 4 hours in this place. I won't say where. There's a lot of gold there. In 4 hours, he got $20 worth of gold. And he told us, he gave us a little hint.
In 4 hours, he got $20 worth of gold. That's less than minimum wage. That's not very good.
Hint, because, in my opinion, gold, and as they're trying to say, it won't have value. I think it will always have value. It's just part of their lies and what they do. But thank you for explaining.
Gold has a value as a commodity, certainly, but is it good as a currency? No.
Explaining that question, because that was very crucial for everyone to hear.
You bet. And any questions you have, please hit me with them, because then I'll give you specifics, because I get excited and I know the overview might seem a little overwhelming for people, but literally you pick a name for your society, you buy the domain name for $30. And then you do a founding where you have 6 people get together for the paperwork. So there's 3 founding members, that creates the trust. And then you have 3 witnesses that replaces the need for a notary and makes that document court admissible in any court in the world.
You know, it reminds me of something that took place around 20 years ago in Toronto. I even had a crew of my own people, and we're gonna do this as this movement called they were called okay, I forget now, the Church of the Universe. And
Well, that sounds legit.
they had made a Bible of their own. They had registered as a society and oath. There was a ceremony. They have their own beliefs. They registered. At the time, the government was giving grants to people, like you say, 6 people, 3, 5.
Is he about to admit? Is he about to talk about a crime? Is he about to talk about someone committing fraud with their society thing?
Founding members, 3 witnesses, a Bible, a belief system. Part of their belief system is that they smoke ganja.
Yeah.
And I actually had a friend who had nothing to do with it, just become a member. I saw the card. It said Brother Greg, you know, just so he could get weed for them.
For sure.
20 years ago. And they were actually doing that. We almost did that with my crew.
I'm guessing that didn't work.
Friends.
I don't think you could just be in Canada when it wasn't legal to have weed and be like, look at this. This card says I'm part of a religion that says I can smoke weed. I don't know if that's how that worked.
It reminds me of something similar.
One thing I want to touch on is everyone's used to registering, submitting, or applying because that's what all documents are. But those are all forms of begging. As an equal, you don't register, submit, or apply, you record. You want to record your rights and title, and that's that 3-letter process that you use to claim your society. That's how you notice anyone and record anyone to have your rights. Also with property, when you buy it legally, that's the process you use to claim dominion over it under private law, so it cannot be taken from you. And if you do have to fill out a registration form, you sign all rights reserved beside your name. So your signature and then all rights reserved. Once you have your
that doesn't do anything.
Society, I do all rights reserved peacemaker society law, but you could put all rights reserved under God, all rights reserved under Allah, all rights, just as long as you have all rights reserved like you always see in movies, that's a part of your signature.
Like you always see in movies. Yeah, but that applies to like on films because those are copyrighted material. That was literally a requirement. If you wanted your film to be copyrighted, there was a time in the United States, and I guess probably Canada, though I don't know, where you literally had to write on the film copyright and then the year in Roman numerals. There were literally works that weren't registered correctly because of this. For instance, Night of the Living Dead, George Romero's first zombie film, that didn't have it on there, and that's why the original is in the public domain, because they forgot to put it on the print. They changed it now it's automatic, but it never applied to this. That was a copyright thing.
It's important. I used to be a musician, and we used to have to do that as musicians. I do have a few questions for you guys that hopefully, because there's a lot of people confused and afraid, right? And the freedom movement, or people who are on the fence, let's say. You know, people in Canada are not as brave as you see what's going on around the world in Europe right now, for example. So for one thing, land use bylaws, there's new land use bylaws coming, you know, not just on DRIP and this huge attempt of a land grab. Because I am in touch with our First Nations people, I know that right now police is moving in on the Wet'suwet'en territories in Prince George.
Pisses me off how actual indigenous issues end up intersecting with this, and Marcel and other sovereign citizens like co-opt it.
George, BC, without the consent, without authority, because the Governing Council of the Indian Act has given the lands away, and there's some crooked tribes and chiefs out there who are doing it and have been falsifying papers for years, claiming different positions, and they are, you know, working with UN and on DRIP. And same thing is now happening in northern Alberta. The native lands were invaded because they want to push pipelines through it. And same thing they did to the homeless people in Vancouver. They just dumped everything of theirs in the dump and chased them away by force. into I don't know where. So now also we here where I live on Denman Island, land use bylaws, enforcement bylaws are very harsh. Housing is very scarce, and people are living with daily stress nonstop. And even people have to understand, maybe you can explain to them on bylaws
And
how
here's Marcel to
important it is
exploit
to
it.
look as soon as you enforcement bylaws.
Yes. So the number one thing is when you go private law outranks legal code.
Of course it does not.
All act and statute is a voluntary contract that they make it seem like you
Nope.
have to do it. So
They don't make it seem. That's just how it works.
not always be able to physically stop police, but as soon as
How in the world does Marcel still do this knowing that he has been arrested? Marcel, you were arrested.
Law enforcement shows up, get the agent's name, their badge number, whatever information you can get, and then for $300 you can have a private investigator under your own private law find out all their information, their home address, who they are, and you can issue them a bill. It ranges anywhere from 10,000 up to $1 million. As soon as they give you an unlawful order and you present your proof that you have dominion and title and private law, you would then have a fee schedule. So you can, all you do is you send a bill.
Pretty sure it's illegal to send people made up fake bills
to that agent. Wait 45 days. There's a notice of dishonor, a notice of default, and you do a universal lien through the PPSA office for $700 that you literally bankrupt that agent. They're no longer bondable. They can't be a legal agent in that position anymore.
Filing false liens is also illegal.
You can do that to police, judges, anyone. And just to show you here, let me grab it. We have a litigation document on our website. So as Chief Justice, I've convicted all legal agents of fraud and securities fraud. That's
he just called him. He just decided he's a Chief Justice. Apparently,
the actual document there. And then I have clients I've consulted who have done these liens. So this is an actual copy of liening an actual agent. So there's the notice of dishonor, notice of default. This was in the States, so it's a UCC, but it's the same process in Canada, just it's the universal lien for PPSA. And literally this agent is bankrupt. You have a superior claim to all of their property, all of their assets. Now you may not get paid that because a lot of but it's a way to lawfully throw a punch and ruin that person's life.
He just admitted on camera that this is bullshit, but he's just trying to hurt them. That doesn't seem like something you should admit on camera. I feel like he just said the quiet part out loud, and also that's certainly a pause face. Captain Squid says, dishonor on you, dishonor on your lien. Whew. That is scary.
Like
yes.
Their credit's gone, their mortgage is going to default, their wife's probably going to leave them, right? And then...
Well, thank you for what you do, brother.
You bet. Thank you. And then also, just as far as I have a criminal defense lawyer named Mike Cook. In 2014, they put me on Winnipeg Top 10 Most Wanted when I was billing the police cadets. And he actually...
Was that part of the reason he was on it?
Reserve my rights in court. So I was able to stand under my own society law, my own oath. The judge, I had two judges, Judge Corn and Judge Garrick, acknowledge our jurisdiction and that they understood what we were doing. And that's where we only have 5 minutes left in this segment before it's going to cut out. So maybe what we'll do is I'll just finish talking on this a little bit, and then we'll come back to segment 2. And then I'm going to let Tim talk here because he has a lot of understanding on terminology, being a signatory Indian, some other terms you can use, how to move the court from
use a different term than that,
equity
please.
Court where they're liable with you as an injured party. And I think because we're kind of on this subject right now, it's a good segue into what he comprehends.
Yes.
And then
yes.
and then once he gives you his, he'll probably take a few minutes. So we'll do a chunk of that segment. If we wind up running out of time there, we can do a third segment again. But I think that's probably
I have a couple more questions, but
yeah, we have 4 minutes 50 seconds. Go ahead, you bet.
Is it Tim?
Eagle Eye.
Eagle Eye. I have seen you around. We will jump into that subject when we run out of time, but just so you know, I have been active with our First Nations people ever since they defied and took the Law Lodge down, okay, in Winnipeg. I am a civicals warrior. Okay, and so there's a lot of information that I think you have.
Yeah, I don't know what he's
that
talking
not
about with the
only
time limit.
putting up the
Send to the level of a mere corporation. And the reason that is because they're limited liability commercially, which means they're commercially incompetent. So to be a government, you have to be fully commercially liable at all times under oath or attestation under penalty of perjury at all times. And you have to be unregistered, unincorporated. So they're an administrative governing body, but they are not actually a de jure government by process at all. And these are, again, the things that the paperwork that we teach and have for you guys is the foundation. It's sovereign rights held by Indigenous power. This paperwork gives you the bottom foundation to law that all law is built on. So no matter what act or statute someone's coming at you with, you whip out this paperwork in this process and automatically you outrank them as long as you're not causing harm in a proactive way. Self-defense.
I hate Mars. I hate him so much. How much time has he wasted of people who could have been getting help from actual attorneys? Too much. Moving on. Jesus Christ.
As you go in, Ray, you'll sit on the left, yeah? Hello, am I entering into this room today with my inalienable human rights? Can you remember me? No, it's not a courtroom because it's not a court of law because it's not a court of record, is it? We discussed this last time I was here, didn't we? So I come into court, don't have my human rights upheld, so you're telling me I'm entering into this room today without any human rights? Is that what you're telling me in here? You're not saying anything to me, so I'm entering into this room today with my human rights. Thank you very much. Come on, my lady.
Milady?
Yes, she can, because she is my witness to what you are trying to do to me today. She is my witness, and I have a child. I don't have any other option. I apologise. I don't have a child. I don't have any other option but to bring my child with me because I can't afford childcare. I apologise. I'm sorry.
You cannot bring a baby.
The child will be silent. Nobody told me this downstairs.
Nobody said anything to you about your baby because there's...
Sorry, I'm skipping the original of this is actually deleted at this point, so I had to get it from someone else,
Not
and I'm just
permitted.
skipping over their commentary.
All children must...
Wow, my controls do not want to work today. What the fuck?
I won't give you jurisdiction over me today. I am not a fictional character.
Are you sure about that?
And then what will
Rod Serling intensifies.
happen? You'll do it without me here in my absence? No, sir, I won't allow you to do that in my absence. I'm sorry. I want to come in with my human rights, buddy. I'm entitled to human rights, yeah? I need people like you to stand by me and say we've got human rights, because these people are taking away our human rights today.
Man, human rights, the word is just starting to not mean anything. Human rights, human rights. It's like when you say a word enough and it just like...
So I keep quiet, that means I'm not allowed to put my opinion forward and not have my human rights, mate.
Oh, violin.
What they want to do without me having it. Do you have your oath with you today, by the way? Sorry, I forgot to ask, have you got your oath with you today? You know the one that you took to uphold?
How can you have statements laid sped up or delusion laid?
I can't, no, because you're going to, no, because they're going to do, no, because they're going to do my case.
Hats off. What do you want me to wear for the hats off, PK the Lost?
Without me present, which is illegal and I won't allow them to do. Are you asking me to leave the court or are you telling me? You're telling me? You're telling me?
You will be forcibly removed.
I will be so you're going to assault me? Are you going to assault? Are you going to assault me to remove me from this court?
I just gotta find them.
I can forcibly remove.
Yeah, you've asked me to be removed, and I've asked for my oath, and they've abandoned court now anyway. They've abandoned court by leaving the back of the room.
Sir,
so when they have abandoned
can you
court,
please
that
leave?
now means I have power of the court. You have assaulted me! Get off me! You've assaulted me!
He didn't like that.
That's assault!
So, you don't understand the court rules? Somebody.
After I've been assaulted.
You need to calm down.
After I've been assaulted.
You weren't
I've been
supposed to be asked
assaulted.
to leave.
Yes, and then I was assaulted when I refused. I was assaulted when I was
Under the
refused.
Courts Act, I can physically remove
You
you.
can physically remove it. Yeah, and the judge has left the room, so therefore that court is now no longer in practice because they have left the courtroom. Therefore that courtroom is now null and void, and you cannot carry on. If you carry on with my case now in there, this will be treason. Okay? Article 61 of the Magna Carta 1215 is in effect brought into effect by the barons.
Okay, can I just...
Now you can. Yeah?
Wrong. Article 61 is not in. It was.
Protection, nobody else's protection.
Yeah.
Okay? I've overheard, and I'm a witness in this case, I've overheard you being asked to leave the courthouse.
Yes, leave,
okay?
not told.
So therefore,
asked. Asked.
Yes.
Asked. No, I was asked.
H-Bird says I have to with a link.
Will you shut up?
I'm on YouTube, I can't play clips. 1 second, now I lost the goddamn video.
I was asked, they asked me. They asked me, I like it.
Discordant Vol says, my human rights will be represented by this full parade band playing God Save the Queen at bone-crushing volume. I wish I had a better option, I truly do.
She's smiling over there, she knows the truth. You all know the truth. You all know what Magna Carta is, don't you?
What can we do?
The original Magna Carta was only in power for like 3 or 6 months or something when a bunch of the barons like made the king fucking sign it, and then the Pope was like, fuck that. And they replaced the barons, I think.
To get you to leave here now.
By getting me signed on the top of this to say I'm no longer on bail.
Like, it's an interesting historical document, but the original Magna Carta is not, like, in power today. Like, that is not the legal document that is in force.
Can do, because I'm not on bail.
You've never been on bail.
This is what this says here. This is what this says here. I have notice of grant of bail. That case is now finished. That case cannot go on because they ran out the back of the room when I asked them for their oath. Okay? When I asked them for their oath, they pooped themselves and ran off. That's what happened.
Nope, that's not how that played out. The magistrates saw you were being inappropriate and not following the court's rules and procedures.
Yeah.
Because they want to do treasonous rules. No. Yeah? Okay, yeah, you're right, it's sedition until I tell them that they're under Article 61 was invoked by the barons.
The magistrates have decided...
Oh, he's literally mentioning the goddamn barons!
23rd of March.
With you present because of your behaviour. So therefore, you need to calm down and leave the courthouse. If you have any issues with their decisions, you need to address that.
But then you're going to cause me harm.
Now isn't the place to do that. Now you've been told to leave the courthouse.
But they are going to cause me harm by removing my right to travel. Yeah? I have a human right to travel on the highways unhindered. Okay. And when you take my driving licence off me, I will be hindered by you. I will be hindered by you guys continually. That is why I'm not leaving here today until this is resolved.
Dude, you are the only person doing the hindering. You are hindering the court, the staff, and the kids.
I have a right. They're called human rights.
Yeah, okay. They have
yeah,
a right
and you're not allowing me my human rights.
I've asked you,
yeah, no, I'm
I'm
replying politely.
now going to ask you to leave
See,
the
now
court.
you're going to assault me.
I'm taking hold
so
of you.
No. This is assault. This is assault.
You've been asked.
This is assault.
You've been asked to leave the court.
This is assault.
I'm asking you to leave the court.
And carry on with my case without me.
I to arrest you for being...
No, but you're going to carry on with my case. I'm not... You're going
to... please leave the court.
But now you're going to carry on with my case without me.
I don't want to have to
No. I want to be in there so if they carry on with my case without me and you take away my licence today, you will cause harm to me. I will not allow harm to come to myself or my family. This is wrong. This is bloody treason. And this video is going all over Facebook as soon as I get home.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I want this removed. I don't want to be on bail anymore. You are not dealing with that. This is assault, officer. Ow! This is assault. Don't push me through this radiating thing. I want to go around it. I want to go around it. You're assaulting me.
Why am I not surprised that he doesn't know how non-ionizing radiation works?
Oh, he was afraid of the metal detector. That sucks. Jesus Christ.
So let's see what do you do if he says it's a statutory jurisdiction. He said this will be a
This is one of these sovereign citizen guru types that spouts this nonsense and tries to teach it to other people on YouTube.
Statutory jurisdiction, and I hope you're satisfied. So you reply, thank you.
Is he selling people the scripts? Let's see. Coming from the document Court Survival Guide on page 17. You can download it here. And there's a link. Oh, he's just giving it away. That's even worse. He's a true believer. That's a shame. He gives people scripts, so if you ever wondered, where do sovereign citizens get this? It sounds like they're reading off a script. There are people who literally provide scripts.
Your Honor, let the record of this court then show that it intends to conduct a criminal action against me, John Henry Doe, under statutory jurisdiction. But the problem is that I've never heard of such a thing as a criminal action under a statutory jurisdiction.
Okay, that's nonsense. No.
I'd be happy to accept this, Your Honor, if you could please tell me where I can find the published rules of criminal procedure under a statutory jurisdiction.
Okay, you can look those up. Those are publicly available. I've actually heard judges say this. I'm just going to insert here what I have heard judges say when this comes up, and he's going to act like none of that happens, I'm going to guess.
Most judges are likely to give up and dismiss the case right here, but some...
No, they're not. I have literally never seen that happen even once. I have never seen that happen even once in one of these things. 0 times have I seen that happen. Goose egg.
Still might be hanging on. If your case isn't dismissed yet, then you might ask, do you have a copy of the rules of criminal procedure under statutory jurisdiction in your office that I could borrow?
No, you cannot borrow my book, sir or madam. Please, get your own. They are publicly available online.
Where does this nature, cause, and jurisdiction information exist?
Publicly. Look it up on the internet. I'm not your lawyer.
Do you know of a law library anywhere that has a copy of these rules?
It is not my job to instruct you. If you would not like to have an attorney, then it is your responsibility and job to figure these things out for yourself.
Since I'm defending myself proper, isn't it your duty to specify which rules of criminal procedure will be used?
If you don't know which rules of criminal procedure are being used, you really probably shouldn't be your own lawyer.
That I may conduct a fair defense in a fair trial? You must tell me where I can access a copy of the rules. This is called cornering. You putting them in a corner, no way out.
You've not put them in a corner. All you've done is demonstrate that you have no idea what you're talking about. I've seen like this exact script used. It doesn't work out for the defendants.
You getting him to say something on the record that he don't want to say. Now, I'm going to tell you like this.
He's so confident, too. That's a shame.
They ready for all of this. And they ready in the sense that they're not going to answer your question, but they got techniques. They got different techniques. One technique is to arrest you and don't let you come into the courtroom till you do what they want you to do.
Would that not demonstrate their authority to you? Would that not demonstrate the jurisdiction of the court? That they're allowed to do that? You know what I mean?
That's a number one technique. I call it fatiguing you into compliance. They just hold you in court. They just hold you in a cell. They keep setting.
Do you know why they're allowed to do that? Because they have that authority as the court of this jurisdiction.
Court dates for you, but you keep dry running you won't see a judge. You won't see anybody. They just hold you. They just hold you. See, a lot of people ain't been through this. That's why I don't listen to cats who teaching stuff and they ain't never been in trouble, ain't never really been in the system and attempted to use this information, because they'll just go off of what's on the paper. They don't understand there's a whole bunch of other shit going on outside the courtroom. There's a whole bunch of shit going on outside the courtroom that they're using against you. It just ain't the judge and the attorneys that you're dealing with. There are officers that know this shit. They got a whole group of motherfuckers ready to handle you. It just ain't the judge or the attorney. It's some of the guards, some of the officers. It's like a damn secret, it's like a secret group.
It's not a secret that you're going to go to jail for contempt if you disagree and don't move forward with court proceedings that you're obligated to take part in. Like, that's not a secret. None of this is a secret. If you're saying that you were abused in a way that you are not allowed to, then I'm sorry that that happened. But if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, and that is literally you were arrested for not doing court when you were in court, that's gonna happen, yeah.
They'll send in motherfucking undercovers. You ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. You ain't ready, man. You know, that's right. It's go deeper, way deeper than what you thinking. What are you gonna say? Let's say this. What are you gonna say when we say you have common law, equity, admiralty, maritime? Could we all agree on that? Because the jurisdiction descends from the Constitution.
Again, he's trying to do the jurisdiction thing. This is like the main argument you see when we watch the court videos, which we've been doing a lot of court videos recently because we were doing a lot of smash videos, which can be fun, but I was sick of looking at cops every fucking stream. So we've been doing court videos. It never works. The court has jurisdiction. It's a criminal court. The law is statutory. I don't understand what you don't understand about this. The Constitution literally spells out, like, the legislature and the ability to legislate statutes and laws.
So if you're saying it's a criminal action, that eliminates equity. We're not talking about equity. We're talking about common law. They'll tell you straight up it's not common law. So that leaves maritime.
There are elements of the common law system that exist within our courts, within our judicial system. Judicial precedent is taken from common law.
Admiralty. And admiralty is civil in nature, but it has a criminal.
What? Admiralty is fucking military in nature. What are you talking about?
Aspect to it. And when you study the history of it, it's what they're doing right now with the bonds, how they arrest you, hold you in jail, give you all that's admiralty. They gonna not answer questions. How can you have a tough time they not answering a question?
They will answer the question, but you won't like the answer. I've seen this so many times with sovereign citizens. They'll ask these questions and the judge will answer, and they'll just keep asking the question because they don't like the answer or don't understand the answer.
You got to know how to move when they don't answer a question. They're not going to answer questions. I'm telling you right now. The number one thing they're not going to answer is telling you what jurisdiction they operating under. I told you. And if they're not answering, then move for a dismissal. If they got you locked up,
and they're going to deny your move for dismissal. Your motion is denied. No.
Habeas corpus. That's what they had to do to get old girl out. A habeas corpus. Because now they're holding you. It's a constitutional violation now. It's violating due process. So
no, it's not. Direct contempt of court is like a thing that they can do. What are you talking about?
We got some constitutional issues we need to discuss. They have
Clearly it's not working out. If you're already in jail for contempt, I think your understanding is probably not great.
2255 for federal, 2254 for state, and a 2241 for pretrial. Everybody should know their habeas corpuses. And those are statutory, but that's the only thing they're going to take as a statutory jurisdiction.
Oh, wait, so you respect the statutory because that's all they're going to take, but you're also going to deny that it exists or should. That doesn't make any sense. Either you understand that the system exists or you don't. As I said earlier, you can disagree with the system. You have a right to believe whatever you want. It's whatever. You're in America. Believe whatever nonsense thing you want. Everyone else does, including me. But you can't both acknowledge the jurisdiction and what the court wants to get what you want, but then deny it when you think that it's bad for you?
With administrative courts. So it's a 2255 is federal, 2254 is state, and 2241 is a pretrial. They have a pretrial habeas corpus. If you ain't been convicted yet and you being held, they got one for pretrial too. They will hold you in jail.
Interesting. Thank you for the link, Mr. Duck Sauce.
Each of the strata laws.
Oh, I like Runkle of the Bailey. I will take a look at this. Let me save it real quick. Saved under Sovsit stuff. Cool beans. Non sequitur, but I only say that I this just came into my head for some reason. I watched Dumb Money, the movie that got made about the GME situation. It was fucking terrible. That mischaracterized the situation a lot. That was a dog shit movie. Don't watch it.
But he said any court created under the legislature would be nothing but administrative, which has nothing to do with law other than, yeah, they're dealing with statute. They call statutes law, statutes.
Laws and statutes are synonyms. They're synonyms.
Law statutes have the force of law because they operate within a jurisdiction where people have agreed to be under that authority. That's why we say you have to have a contract. That's when we asking them if it's an admiralty jurisdiction, if there's a contract.
It's not admiralty jurisdiction. There's no contract. A contract isn't necessary for the law.
We asked, okay, well, if there's a contract, can you please provide the contract and put it in the evidence and show me I'm obligated to perform under said contract? What is the contract that brought me within this jurisdiction? What is the minimum They don't want to tell you none of that stuff. They don't want
The funny thing is sometimes that does apply. For instance, when they don't have driver's licenses, but like they did at one point or something, or if they have driver's licenses, but they're not driving with insurance, and then they say this, and then the judge points out, well, when you signed up for your license, you signed a contract or signed an agreement, signed an acknowledgement that basically said you would follow all the road laws. And that's always pretty funny. Sometimes they'll be like, but I sent you a letter that says that I revoke that.
Tell you any of that. That's the information. See, they can't admit nothing because if they open the door a little bit, they got to open it all the way. And then it's
or you're wrong.
Too much stuff they got to answer. That's why they don't answer no questions. Because they answer one question, they got to answer 100.
Terrible. This guy's whole channel is this, by the way. What a shame. Oh, he does have a subscription service. That's a bummer. SPC University. You have a right to privacy. Cash App. This site teaches you how to operate in the private domain. All aspects of society have been transformed into a commercial venue. No, they haven't. What? Oh, no. How much is he charging people? Do I even want to know? $49 a month. Yeah, I'm going to call grift on that one. H-Beard says, if a sovereign citizen was arrested for boating without a proper license, would they argue that they can't be tried because they aren't in Admiralty Court? They'd probably say they were traveling, if I had to guess. Anyway, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. Be right back. I'm not even going to do a funny bit. I'm just going to go pee. I'll be right back. Okay, what other videos does he have? Not doing a bit is a bit. I thought I chose not to decide, but I still made a choice. Oh, he's gonna watch A Sovereign Citizen.
Roosevelt here. Today, I decided to do this a little different.
Interesting.
Somebody sent me this video, and it wasn't nothing but one of these anti-sovereign type individuals. They sent it to me with the fake profile and all that. And I went over here and looked at this, and I have to say, this is a very good video for me to teach a class on. I mean, it's like perfect. So I'm hoping the individual, when they sent it to me, they were sending it to me as an example of what not to do. This particular video, first of all, I'm going to say, look, I ain't going to go
Oh, wow, his microphone.
bad on the young man because he's trying.
130. Proof that I have the sign. Hey, yeah.
I'm going to let y'all do it
I'm assuming he's gonna blame the kid when in reality none of the arguments are good anyway. But let's give it a
first
shot.
because y'all supposed to be following me on my channel. Because obviously,
Oh my
person that I
God!
teach,
Fucking normalize your audio.
Versus Trellis Lane.
Lawrence Kreffman for the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Hey, Jan, how are you doing? Okay, I'm doing okay. How are you doing? I'm doing well, Yana. Can I get sworn in? No. You said no? Yes, that two-letter. Mr. Kreffman, how much is owing on this account?
Your Honor, the rent to retain possession is $1,978.19, plus court costs of $161 for a total of $2,131.19.
Sir, how do you intend upon getting that paid? Your Honor, I am the first-hand witness. I have certain facts obtained a matter of hand. I am the beneficiary of my estate. I am the taxpayer. I am the signed person by the Social Security Administration. That card is in my name. I don't know if you got any of my emails. No, I got them all. And I also sent the hard copy to the court. I don't know if they'll have time to get there. It should arrive at 10:30. Like I was stating, I want to have a motion to be on behalf of the plaintiff. I've shown all proof that I have an interest and ownership on this account, and I've been performing, and they have not been accepting my payments.
I'm assuming he was sending them those nonsense things where they think they can tap into their fictional $8 million Social Security, like, bank account thing that sovereigns believe in.
They haven't been accepting your payments? They have not.
Yes, this will happen sometimes. Okay, I remember this video. Sometimes sovereign citizens will, because they think they have that secret Social Security bank account that everyone is born with $8 million, and instead of paying bills, they'll, like, fill out the bills with nonsense information in their Social Security number and send it in and think that their bills are being paid. Nope, that's not how that works.
Sent the letters. How much did you send it in U.S. currency? I sent them by my endorsement. Okay, that wasn't my question. My question was, are you sending it in U.S. currency? No, Your Honor, we don't have currency. All we have is credit. I see. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. When's my trial? Let's see. When can I set it?
You want to do a trial?
Yes. Yeah. Or whatever. Every day I got.
Do you want to do it after the 3rd, since we're at
At what time? No, because those other people will be here.
okay.
Just give me a date.
Mondays.
Setting a day for a court date, I'm assuming.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Date for non-jury trial.
I can break down the amount if you'd like me to.
Just one moment, we'll get to that. Sir, can I ask you, I received the documents from you. Is there a reason why you don't think you owe that amount?
Because it's already been paid, Your Honor. Far as reporting adverse.
Is the sovereign citizen actually going to talk
Mr.
about this or no?
Yes,
Or
Your
is he going
Honor.
to wait till the end?
What? And
Because he
what
was supposed to
account-
talk over this, right?
Okay. So
just on this judge. Thank you.
The fuck? He didn't even talk over it. Was the whole point I wanted to click on it.
They say criminal. We know.
Well, you gonna take your hat off?
You can make your statements any way you want, but I'm not here today to
Where you
debate
gonna
the
leave?
movement
You
of
got
the
your
day,
choice.
whether you can wear a hat or not. The form of all courtrooms are no hats.
You can,
So you can be here with a hat on.
Why is that? Why can't?
Do you want me to speak to that? Okay. Specifically, this is a motion to dismiss in both dockets 2000.
Is there no audio again? God fucking damn it. People on YouTube can probably still hear me. I got muted, it disconnected and reconnected, and I got muted on Twitch. I was almost at 3 hours anyway, so I'm done for the night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry about the issues. Bye-bye.